Welcome to Storm King's Thunder Session 16. Congratulations, my dude. You guys have made your way through a fair chunk of this. Tonight, we are picking up where we left off. Last session, you guys made your way from the fight with the Frigid Yetis at the bridge and the Spine of the World ascent. We're able to finish those off, harvest some fun eyes, skins, and horns. Continue to make your way up where you realize that someone else, or many others, had made their way into the temple before you. Upon sneaking into the entryway, you found six Great Worm barbarians, headed by Chief Wormblood, who were trying to pry their way into the temple, but unsuccessful. Goldbrand sort of snuck Zatari and Tally up onto some ledges where they could get a good vantage point before confronting the barbarians, attempted to make peace and cooperate, but due to some very poor rolls on Devon's, and it was unsuccessful. After a brief skirmish, Goldbrand was able to slay the chief of the opposing tribe and tried to talk the other tribe members down, but they were stubborn, raging, ready to go. But with a bellow from Harshnag and a solid intimidation check, he was able to scatter the remaining forces, and you proceeded into the main hall of the Eye of the Allfather, where you found 7 statues, the largest of which was a depiction of Anam himself, 80 feet tall, surrounded by 6 smaller statues, 40 feet tall, that represented his 6 sons, one for each type of each type of giant. A little bit of exploration, you guys found Boulder Fall Hall, and had your own little Indiana Jones escapade after raiding some booty and finding a crack in the mountainside that had a secret tunnel. After doing some minor exploration there and healing up from your, I think it was Zatari and Goldbrand that got just flattened by this thing, taking 55 damage apiece.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Zatari actually went down, but Davos, acting quickly, got him right back up. And then actually, on that note, we did talk a little bit about this last session, that we've slightly changed the Ember rule, because that was a homebrew thing, and after seeing you guys use it a little bit, I feel like having it available every day kind of takes some of the tension out. So we made 2 changes. Instead of being reborn every day at dawn, it's every 3 days. And then when you go down, it will wait 1 round before it tries to pick that person up. So if one of you has a healing spell and wants to pick that person up, you can. But if you don't get to do that before that player's turn, then Ember will. After continuing back to the other side of the hall, you guys made your way into the feasting hall, opening it up and finding a large brazier filled with flames, a great axe that was missing from one of the statues in the other hall, lying on the table ahead of you. But as you proceeded inside, Tally, with his keen sight, was able to see a large insectoid creature clutching the wall with glowing red spikes all the way down its incredibly long body, probably over 100 feet, 2 large fins sort of jutting out from its neck, pincers and tentacles, antennas, and dozens of insectoid legs, as well as a sharp pincer at the end of its tail, and with a terrifying this lurched from the wall to the last person in the party, which, luckily for you guys, was Harshnag. And that, my dudes, is where we're going to pick up tonight's session. Anything before we begin?
I'm scaroused.
All right, is that Brannigan?
God, I'll kill you where you stand. Don't you compare me to that buckstick. Anyway,
that's that quote. That's where that's from. He's the one who says scaroused. Or maybe it's Fry. Actually, now that I think about it, it's Fry.
I don't know if I've heard them say that.
It's definitely Futurama.
Anyway.
No, it is Fry. It's when he's talking to the Amazonians. You're welcome.
Is that the snoo?
It's not that one, actually. It's when they are in a bar, and there's various women and aliens and such, and he's talking to an Amazonian chick, and that's his response when she implies that she's going to destroy him. All right, my dudes. Let's go ahead and roll some initiative.
This is for Zatari. Sorry.
Loop.
Keep going.
No, you're fine. All of you go ahead. Ooh. solid. Goldbrand.
Goldbrand's gonna die tonight.
Bergine 13. Talaboon 13 as well.
If he dies, I'm gonna roll up his wife.
It's 313.
313s is kind of odd. The Remorhaz did not roll super well. Zatari 17. All right, my dudes. Let's go ahead and get down to business. Starting with Zat. What you got, Devin? Oh, and I'll get some battle music on.
Zap. He's now Zap because it's not.
I like to think like that Fallout Boy rat-a-tat-tat. It's Zat-a-tat-tat.
All right. So seeing this motherfucker, can he can he get under these tables? Are they that big?
Yeah, the tables are fairly high up. The two narrower slabs are actually benches, but the table itself is probably a good 15, 20 feet in the air, so you could easily walk under them.
Yeah. Well, he wants to know if he can get like under the table and shoot in between, stick his gun out in between the bench and the table. I don't know how tall the bench
I think
itself
he
would
could
be.
do that.
So that's what he wants to do. He's gonna, move to a safe spot. I guess he can't make it that far, can he?
Technically, he can only move 2 squares in this. These are 20-foot squares. Just as a
Whoa, they had a freaking token for one? Where'd you find the token for the Remorhaz?
Oh, I pulled it, actually. I think it was on, I think Roll20 had it in one of the packs I bought.
Sweet.
Why
Yeah,
is my
these things are
music not
fucking
playing?
cool. So he's gonna move right there. If he moves diagonally, that's as far as he can move, is into this square. And then he's gonna take his 2 shots. Pow pow. Instead of pop pop, it's pow pow.
Pepper that box.
Question, nobody can hear music, right?
I can
Nope,
hear
here.
music.
You can?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
I'm
not
not-
anymore.
I'm
Okay,
not
there it
he-
is.
I'm
I
not
hear it.
hearing anything, and it's not
Hmm?
doing the...
Yeah. Roll 20 muted.
It's Roll20 audio. How about somebody pop something in Fredbot for me, and we'll use that instead. And hopefully that'll work a little better.
First hit. Second hit.
Jeez, if that doesn't hit, I'm gonna be pissed.
Good news. They both hit. For a total of 21 damage.
Sorry, Zatori, as he does this, he goes, "What the fuck is that thing?"
Accurate. Bonus action?
Mm-mm. I will look for next turn, but go ahead. He's level
Okay.
6 now, so I'll take a look.
All right, Bergine, what you got, my dude?
All right. Gonna move Burger and Rots about there, or actually maybe here, if that's possible. How big are these squares? I'm assuming they're a little bigger.
They're 20 feet, so you can move about 2 squares.
All right, and let's see. Gonna cast. Yeah. Gonna cast Spiritual Weapon. Rots about there. And then, let's see. Attack the Remorhaz.
There we go. Sweet. All right, that definitely does hit. Go ahead and roll for damage, and I will pop up a little. Where do you want to put your spiritual weapon?
Right about there.
Okay. Enjoy this critical roll.
I was about to say, I seen what it was when you put it in there, but now it sounds familiar too, so I'm like, yeah!
I've got to move this so I can move this. Because... Oh, are you dumb? You are dumb. I'm sorry.
Don't remind me.
That's... I wasn't talking to any of you, but if the shoe fits...
So much stress associated with this song. Ugh.
Good. Secondhand trauma, I love it. Alright. 9 definitely goes through. Anything for your bonus action, my dude? Or is that the bonus action? I'm sorry.
No,
That is
I
bonus
think that's
action.
about all I can do.
Okay.
The rest of these spells are just getting up in that thing's face, which I don't necessarily want to do yet.
That's fair. Alright,
Preach.
that brings us to Davos.
What's Harshnag's AC? We probably talked about this.
He's pretty solid. I'll say he's over 20. I won't give you an exact number, but he's pretty tough.
Alright. Alright. I will kind of follow Zatari. Come to the corner where I won't hit Harshnag. Maybe somewhat concealed by the bench. do some guiding bolt.
Get him. 17.
Wow.
That's close.
Freaking 3 maxes.
17 just meets.
Thank God.
Wow, 20.
I am
Damn.
surprised.
Yeah, normally it's like 5. 5 damage.
1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and a 6.
Great.
I am going to look at one thing real quick. I just want to make sure that it doesn't actually say how big the benches and everything are. So we're going to go with tabletops are 15 feet. The benches are about 8 feet. About half of that.
8 foot to the top of the bench.
From floor to the bottom of the bench.
Okay.
So all of you can walk under them.
We're under them. Yeah, cool.
Even Goldberg.
All right. Bonus action for Davos.
Can you ready movement?
That readying anything technically takes your action,
yeah.
and you've already moved this turn, so you wouldn't be able to ready.
Okay.
But I do need to mark him as having advantage for whoever hits him next.
Is that
Where's
what
that
that
little-
does for real?
Guiding bolt, yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't even know you were setting me up for a slam dunk?
Yeah, I did. That's why I'm the bard. Speaking of which, bonus action, I guess,
Yeah, I get it.
I'll do some inspiration for Tally.
Okay.
I didn't. Okay, so we had inspiration from the session before, didn't we use it at any point for Tally in the last session?
No. And this is different.
Oh,
This is bardic inspiration.
Yeah. So bardic inspiration, you get to add. Is it still a D4 or is it a D6 now?
It's a D6.
Okay. So when you roll, before I give you the results, you can make it whenever you make an attack or an ability check. You can roll the bardic inspiration to add to it. You have
And
one
you
of
get to-
those,
yeah.
and you have one regular inspiration. I
You
hate
get to
the
pick
name-
the roll.
Get to pick the.
Like, he gets to choose when he uses it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before your
Inspiration is when you get to re-roll entirely. Like you see a die and like, oh fuck, that's a 2. I'm gonna use my inspiration and re-roll that.
Mm-hmm. So
And,
6. Once I've rolled something, I add it, or do I choose to use it before I roll? Sorry, I missed that
You
part.
can no, you're fine. You can do it after you roll, but before I give you the result. So if you roll a number and I haven't told you if it hits or misses yet, you can say before that I want to do this.
Copy.
This does also apply to saving throws as well for the bardic
Sweet.
inspiration.
Good to know.
Yeah.
For 10
Saving throws,
minutes.
skill checks, and attacks. All right. That finishes up for Davos. Telebundo, what you got?
Okay, so these are 20-foot squares, correct?
Yeah, you can move about 2 squares.
Okay.
And you can move through Harshnag Square. Moving through friendly. As long as you don't end your turn in that square, you're good.
Sweet. So with, let me see if I can put this in VTT. With Dread Ambusher, I get an extra 10, which would put me at 45 movement speed. So that'd be 2, and then can I enter the next square? My intention is to be about here.
45 would get you technically 2, and we'll say 2.5. Yeah, I would say that's doable.
Okay.
That's- you actually still have more movement speed from there.
Okay. In which case,
You have another 20
Yeah.
feet, I think, so you can move 1 more square.
if I enter, okay, I'm not placing myself, but if I'm like here, am I still within 60 feet of our critter? 1, 2, 3.
Just barely, yeah.
Okay, then that is where I'll move.
Okay.
Now for a whole bunch of attacking.
Get him.
So that's 2 attack actions, and then I will actually use my bonus action to mark him with Hunter's Mark.
Get it.
So there's that. And then
13 misses, 21 hits.
That's the first roll, though, right? Because of advantage?
Oh, because guiding bolt, yes, correct.
yeah, so that is the guiding bolt attack, and then I just had advantage for that first attack, so I'm gonna roll that damage and sneak attack damage.
Ooh. Ooh.
If you'd like,
Um,
Tally, that
mhm.
bardic inspiration also can apply to damage because of I guess a feat or something that I do have. I put it in
Ooh, College
chat,
of Swords.
Joey, so you can see it. Yeah, College of Swords. There it is.
Kind of neat.
If you want it, not no pressure.
Spell that restores hit points or deals damage.
Oh, word.
It's
That's-
if you cast a spell. Yeah, it seems to be just for spells.
Okay, sorry about that. There you go,
That's
Bergen. If I give you some bardic inspiration, or I guess that could also apply to.
So that's the
myself.
hunter's mark damage from the bonus. Sorry, and then my second attack
So
is
that's
there.
28 for the first hit.
Second hit, roll damage, kaboom. And I believe that's all my little tricks.
Solid roll. That's gonna bring us to Harshnag, who upon seeing this big motherfucker come in, he's gonna try and go with his great axe. Gets 2 swings, and he has a pretty sizable plus to hit. Ooh, 1 misses, 1 hits, and he's gonna do.
Oh wait, sorry. The Dread Ambusher would have had 1 extra D8, but we can skip it because I forgot about it.
You can go ahead and roll it in there.
Probably really do be like, first round, you gonna die, bitch.
And because that one only works for your first round each combat, yeah. So you need
We
that.
can only
Correct.
Bum,
I mean, like,
bum,
a normal
bum,
person,
bum,
like a regular
bum,
person,
bum.
tally like, lol. Blah, 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 dead.
All right. That's gonna bring it to the Remorhaz. Most of you guys have some type of cover, so he's gonna
Harshnag
continue.
didn't roll?
I rolled for him here.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a character sheet for him, so I
I feel you.
roll from his
F you.
I've got his character sheet all printed out, looking all nice here.
You.
Right, that's gonna bring us to the Remorhaz. And he is gonna fuck some shit up. He's gonna go with a bite onto Harshnag.
Cobran hides his face
plus-
and looks through his fingers.
1125, which does hit. And that's gonna deal 40 piercing and 10 fire damage.
Holy
What?
sh-
Yeah.
Harshnag is also grappled.
Great.
Oh.
So it just literally is like chomp.
Yeah, if it hits, it's an automatic grapple. A little bit on him.
What's the
Thank-
fire?
One more time.
He was asked about what the fire damage was, but it looks like he's.
Oh, I'll
It's-
narrate this a bit. The Remorhaz sort of rears back, and you guys could see when you walked in that it has this dull glow coming from within its mouth, and as these 2 large pincers just latch onto Harshnag's chest and sort of bind around him, you watch as Harshnag's chest steams, and you gather that while this creature isn't an Arctic environment, it is a creature of heat, and it is literally burning him from this initial contact. In fact, since you were asking about it, Davos, roll an intelligence check.
Do I feel any heat where I'm at?
No, sir. Oh,
I don't know anything.
that look how it. And let me check one more thing.
It has sharp teeth.
Shot, indeed.
Short.
And that is
Truly.
going to bring us to Goldbrand. He only has one regular swing a turn.
That was a
Goldbrand.
Monty Python reference, by the way.
So if I come up here, if I move 1 square, well here I can move 2 squares. I will come up in front of Davos a little bit.
Okay.
You mostly just want to be beside him. Doesn't really matter to me if I'm right next to him or which side I'm on. But he'll come up beside Davos so he can get a shot with his starry form. Come on, where's
Get it.
my wild shape usage? Because he's gonna starry form and he's. Yeah, he doesn't want to give himself. Actually, because he does want to give himself. But he's gonna do the thing first. I'm sorry. He's gonna guiding bolt first, and then he's gonna.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah, he's gonna do it that way because reasons. Sad face.
It does not hit.
Nope.
Launches
the
a meteor,
javelin.
goes wide. Follows with the
Goldbrand's.
javelin.
First time in his life, might be scared. Doesn't hit.
That does not hit either.
Sad face.
Yeah, you make 2 swings, and unfortunately, just nothing quite catches purchase. While it is an immense creature, it is also very long and very thin, and because of that, you're having a hard time getting your aim just right.
Gobrun's very distracted by the fact it's burning a giant. He's like, ah!
That's scary. Zat, what you got?
The fucking
AKA
fox.
Devin.
Can he still shoot? Does he need to move? Are we in the way?
I could.
I would say go ahead and have
Like,
him
if he
move a
goes
couple squares
1,
over to get a clear
2.
shot.
I was about to say, does that work?
Well, now you're getting into a weird angle. I would
Okay.
say it has
Two
like
us here.
half
1,
cover
2.
if you're.
How
Well,
about there?
that's better. I'm
Okay,
trying
he'll
to
move
think.
there.
8 feet high, 15 feet high. That's 7-foot window from several feet back. You're talking 20 feet back. Like halves that to like a 3-foot window. Okay. I would still say you could shoot it because it is a large creature, but if you get too much further, I might have to do partial cover.
He may even come up or something after this turn, but if he can shoot it from there, he will. Did that roll?
Yeah,
Not.
it did not.
Oh.
Both of those
Attaboy,
hits.
Zat.
15 damage. Bonus action.
He does not. I'm sorry.
Loop. All right, that's gonna bring us to Bergine.
All right. I think I'm gonna move just a little bit more this way. Well, first of all, for my free action or bonus action, take a swing with the spurge weapon, where it be.
Ooh, that just hits.
Right.
Pop. And for your action.
And for my action, I am going to let's see. Which one of the? All right, which one of these do what now? Saving throw or ability check. I'm gonna cast resistance on Harshnag.
Okay.
Hmm.
What kind of resistance? Well, actually, pop it into chat. It may be.
It looks like he did.
Oh, bless you. D4 and add the number. Okay, he's actually gonna have to make a saving throw to get out of the grapple, so that's pretty solid.
Sweet, that's what I was hoping for. All right.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Okay. Let me mark Harshnag. Davos, go ahead.
Alright. I'm gonna cast Shield of Faith on Goldbrand. Plus 2 AC, bro. It's a concentration. Let me put it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you
I'll
put up
put
a
this symbol.
concentration thing, and I will put up a little shieldy shield. Oh, where'd it go? There it is.
Well, this is very neat. Thanks, you holies, mans.
I guess before that, I'm gonna yell out, has anybody ever heard of one of these things before? Like, I'm looking for, like, weaknesses or stay away froms. Anybody know anything like that?
Harshnag, as he's sort of like grappling the pincers, goes, don't use cold, don't use hot, and that's all he gets out.
Okay, as a bonus action, because I don't know if I'm gonna use it.
Your Shield of Faith is a bonus action, so you have your action.
What? Does it say that? How did you know that?
Because it says it on the card.
Oh man, I don't know if I have any ranged weapons. And I can't do Guiding Bolt, right?
No, you can't cast another spell.
Spell.
You can use. Well, is Guiding Bolt a cantrip?
Not for me.
Okay, yeah. You can use a cantrip, but you can't use a spell.
Alright, as a cantrip, I'm gonna mock this thing.
Vicious Mockery.
Yeah.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but I cast Vicious Mockery. Still one of my favorites. Wisdom save.
I
13.
yell out, your mom's hotter than you.
Oof.
Fuck you, Shorzy.
Fuck you,
Wisdom
Josie.
save.
Fuck your mom last night. She kept.
18. I'm sorry, my dude. He passes.
Alright.
It just literally with like its pincers around Harshnag just growls at you. Talabundo.
Okay.
Oh hey.
Obviously there. I'm just gonna do my thing. Oh, that's awful. I'm going to use my inspiration for that.
Okay, good. I was about to have you roll to see if you hit Harshnag.
There we go. That looks better.
All right, mark the inspiration off on your sheet, and go
Yep.
ahead and roll damage.
Okie doke. We get a little bit from. Let's see, where's it at? This guy. We get.
You do have
This.
sneak attack because he's engaged.
Oh, yes, I do. We get a little bit of that on there. How about. Okay, that was 1, 2, 3. I believe that's all the damage for that one.
All right, roll your next.
Sneak attack. Bonus action, and there it is.
Oh,
It
okay.
rears its ugly head once more.
So do me a favor, roll a d6.
Okay.
If it's odd, it hits Harshnag.
Nice.
Wow.
Ooh, okay, so luckily the damage wasn't a whole hell of a lot. But you watch as you throw the knife, and like as you do, the beast like sort of jolts and pulls Harshnag, and it strikes into Harshnag's arm, and Harshnag he cusses in giant, which you guys know. So it basically says "dragon fucker."
Well, I wish. I looked at Zatari.
Famous
man.
last words.
Yeah, I looked at Zatari and say, you know, mine don't really do anything. Just don't put a hole in our giant friend.
All right. Anything else? Any
That'll be it
movement
for
or
me.
anything, my dude? Okay. That brings us to Harshnag, who's going to use his action to break free. He gets that at a D4. Is that right, Brigham?
Yes.
Sweet. Okay. His strength's pretty solid. He has to beat. God, that's a hella high hit save. He does need the D4. Oh, and he got a 4 on it, so Harshnag breaks free of the grapple. He does use his action in doing so.
Bergen MVP.
I don't know about
Cleric should
that.
always be MVP.
Yeah, clear.
That does use his action. So he
I
sort
do
of...
stuff too, guys.
The Remorhaz, after being pushed away from Harshnag, he turns to look at this small creature sort of battering him with various attacks. And, eeny meeny. Even odd. Ooh. It's gonna lurch for Goldbrand. You do have Shield of Faith, so help me remember that.
Come on, shield.
He gets plus 11 to this.
Probably gonna hit me.
Oh,
yeah, it's probably
Jesus.
gonna hit me. Yeah, it's gonna hurt.
21.
Oh
Even with
yeah.
the plus 2, I think that gets you.
Mm-hmm.
You take 40 piercing, 10
Okay.
fire. You're not raging, so I don't think either of those is reduced.
So what is that total? 50?
50, and you're grappled. And that consumes your shield.
Well, I ain't dead.
I see that too. I don't see your health bar though. It's literally such a small sliver. It's like, oh god.
Does he still
Wow.
grapple if the person goes down?
You don't. Oh, you don't want to know. You're probably about to find out.
Actually,
This is what I was afraid of, and it's about to happen. We'll find
Bergen,
out.
That does technically last up to 10 minutes. Oh, I'm
I
sorry,
think
my
once
dude.
it triggers, yeah, it's over.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was looking at. You're concentrating on weapon, spiritual weapon. You are concentrating on the Shield of Faith, so we're good there. The Remorhaz literally has Goldbrand in its mouth. It lurches under the bench, pincers around you, and pulls you back as it is now holding you aloft in the air. And you guys look, Goldbrand is pouring blood. He is in very rough shape. Definitely in the critical territory. Thankfully, it is your turn, my dude. Oh,
I guess I can try to break the grapple.
Oh.
can't I?
um,
Yeah, I'm taking fire damage, right? Started my turn in his mouth.
hang on one second. Let me
Before I go
creature
down, I
that
want to spray.
touches the Remorhaz
Yeah.
or hits it with a melee attack within 5 feet of it takes 10 fire damage.
Yep, yep,
You watch as this creature pulls him closer, and the heat from his mouth, you see the bearskin around Goldbrand's waist start to ignite, and Goldbrand goes limp.
You said 10 damage? I guess it doesn't matter because it's not going to be. Like, it's not going to. Doesn't keep track of negatives, but.
If no one gets up, if no one picks him up before the start of his turn, Ember will. But just be aware. And if he takes any more damage, that is
2 fails.
you only get 3.
So you said
only
he's unconscious right now, or dead?
he is unconscious. Yeah, not dead, but he's out.
Right.
That brings us
Flat.
to Zat.
Zat! He's... Oh. He has 6 bullets?
He used at least 2 in the last round.
I mean, he has 6 total, right?
Yes, sir. You can put that in his third thing if you need to where you see his running
So I'm
total.
just trying to decide how I do this. So, I guess... No. Oh. Yeah, I'll wait one more turn to do this. He'll use one shot to shoot and 1 shot to reload, because he can use... If he attacks the first time, he gets another attack, he can use that to reload, right? That's what we've been doing.
Yeah, an
I'll make
attack
sure that's-
can reload, not an action. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So he will use his first attack, and with 1 bullet left, he'll reload. Da 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 da. Bam! Man, he's rolling like fire. And then instead of the second
that's good.
attack, he's gonna reload. He's gonna get ready.
Loading up.
Goldbrand didn't drop any of those magic rocks when he got snatched up, huh?
Nah, fam.
Oh man, it's just something. I'd have handed you some, but he got snatched up like a horror movie monster. Blat!
I didn't think about
Yeah,
it.
he was literally right beside you, and he's like, "Oh, thanks for the shield of."
Jeez.
Bergen, what you got, my man?
Okay. Let's see. I can reach him. Yes. Well,
Yeah, you can make your way through Harshnag. You can still technically move another 5 feet, so you can move another half square if you need to.
I'm gonna sit right here, I think.
Fair
And,
warning, he is airborne, so you can't use a touch spell. Well,
Goldbrand is?
yeah, because like the thing
Oh,
has
okay, I
him
didn't realize that.
and like pulled
Yeah,
him
like
out
up in the air. Okay.
because he has
Well,
a
I
ton
can
of
still-
movement.
I can do. Let's see. Where's it? It's one of these hit pins. Yeah, this one. I do that on Goldbrand.
Nice. All right,
Wow, damn.
Goldbrand,
That's a
you
bunch.
go from limp to almost immediately being brought back, and it's jarring. I mean, the heat, the pain itself from the pincers. I mean, everything about this is uncomfortable, and you are having a bit of trouble breathing. It's got you sort of around the rib cage, but you come to and are sort of startled to be eye to eye with this incredibly massive beast.
Use R's very bigs.
Anything else for Goldbrand? Or excuse me, for that Bergen.
Uh,
Get it right.
Bonus action. I guess I'll swing. Has it been a minute yet?
It has not. No, a minute is 10 rounds, so you've got plenty of time.
Where did I cast that with? Cast that with. Let's see. Well,
That do hit. Y'all are rolling solid.
sure.
Nice. I feel like they fixed the algorithm because there was a point where we were running so many low nat ones, and now they've got it a little better. All right, that's gonna bring us around the corner to Davos. So you've just seen Goldbrand get snatched up, now dangling 15 feet off the
Got
ground.
that bolt right at that dude.
Got it.
Blat!
21.
That is a solid hit. I didn't
That's
even know that
level
spell
2
could do
slot.
that much damage. Damn.
Kaboom.
And
Did
it's a
you-
bonus action.
Yeah, I've cast it, yeah.
Nice. I see second level now. Yeah. All right, my dude.
That was the last second level, by the way.
This thing is looking pretty rough. It's
Yes!
you see.
As a bonus action,
Go ahead.
I was going to give Goldbrand, what is it called? Bardic Inspiration.
Bardic Inspiration.
Yeah.
1d6 for a save, attack, or ability check. You're
Which
gonna
you
need
gonna
it, bro.
need. So that's
Yeah,
a
I
good.
am.
That's a good call.
See what we got here.
All right. So mark that you have that. You are still grappled. And then that brings us to Telebundo.
You know what it is.
Throw them knives. That hit? That hit? Hey, baby.
18.
Come on, Kai Karim. Take him out.
Okay, sorry. All right, so that's
And then
Jeez,
extra
did you really
Hunter's
do-
Mark.
does Hunter's Mark apply to every
Is
attack?
that 30 damage?
Yeah. You choose a creature you can see within range, mystically mark it as your query. Until the spell ends, you deal an extra 1d6 damage to the target whenever you hit it with a weapon attack.
Shit. I hate you in particular.
Is that 3 attacks? 34 damage is what I got.
So you watch as Tally sends out this barrage of blades. Sort of his eyes grow a little wide as he sees Goldbrand get picked up, and just one after the other strike the beast in the chest, and it shakes and
Rattles and
collapses
rolls?
onto the
Hell
ground.
yeah.
Yes.
Damn.
Is it still breathing?
No.
This is so
Just
Uh,
making sure.
Kicks
roll
it
an
to
intelligence
make sure.
check. Goldbrand, you are gonna take
Some fall damage.
not a whole lot. You'll take 4 bludgeoning damage from the fall.
Ouch. Goldbrand goes, oof!
And congratulations, gentlemen.
Yes!
You guys fairly quickly
I think it's
killed the
the
Remorhaz.
rolls.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Oh
how
yeah,
well-
y'all were rolling
Yeah,
like on
rolled
fire.
really well.
We missed
I
what,
wanted-
one hit. Goldbrand
I will
was the only
warn-
one who missed.
Now that it's dead, I'll tell you, if it has you grappled and it gets to its turn again, it swallows.
It swallows you. I know. I'm sitting here like Goldbrand's gonna get swallowed. I knew it.
And
Wow.
I was thinking about it. If Goldbrand got swallowed, Ember would not be able to see him to pick him back
Neither
up.
would Bergman.
Oh.
Yeah.
So,
And so this-
it's
Yeah,
intense.
this was me all week. I was like, Goldbrand has the most hit points. He's the best candidate to be swallowed, but he's missing half of them. And I'm like, ah!
Give me just 2 seconds.
Shit.
But it's not
Yeah.
technically an insta kill. Like, what happens if you get
someone
swallowed? Could you
swallowed-
still?
Well, that would be. Well, see, Goldbrand can wild shape and rage, so he could have I could have bought myself a turn with rage and wild shape because it would still be half damage and I would lose my wild shape. But then the next turn it probably would have dropped me, and then the turn after that I would have failed 2 death saves. I could have made it about 3 turns with wild shape and rage, but unless it's probably full health.
What's the most uncomfortable wild shape to have in your stomach? A hedgehog?
I was
Beluga
gonna
whale.
do a giant lizard. That's the most HP.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, just thrash around.
And then we would have to wait for you to poop. The Remorhaz to poop you out.
I
Well, he takes
be
acid
wrong.
damage
I think-
inside,
We can't
so
hear
he
you,
would
Joey.
be.
But if you
Yeah,
do enough
upset.
damage, it upchucks you. But I don't remember that for sure.
Yeah, you have to do a pretty sizable chunk of damage from the inside, not the outside, to get it to throw
Oh.
up. And
Nice.
you take acid damage, like 21 points every turn you're in
Oh,
there.
jeez.
So-
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
It's pretty
See, like-
fucking brutal.
See, if
Why
I
would
raged and wild shaped, I would have got 2 rounds of being an animal before it started chunking my hit points, and that was the plan. But then it did 50 damage on the strike, and I was like, well, all
Y'all
right.
really got lucky that Harshnag took that first hit for you guys, because it can't swallow
Yeah.
Harshnag, because he's huge.
Yeah.
Oh, I
But
was gonna. Yeah.
any of the rest of you, that second turn, you were going gulp, unless you passed a DC 17 save, which is pretty fucking steep.
On.
Devin been sitting here all week like
Frank?
Goldbrand gonna get swallowed.
I think it's. Let me double check.
Oof.
Yeah, strength check.
So what happens? So I would have died from a bite attack. What would happen if I was down while grappled? Well, I
It would
guess
hold
just
you.
have-
It would hold you while you were down. At the start of your turn, you would lose a death save because it would burn you.
2 death saves because it would burn.
I would say just one because it's not technically an attack. It's just damage
Mm.
you take. And then on its turn, it would have swallowed you because what it does is when it swallows you, it does another bite attack. So it would have done another 40 damage,
Yeah. it did, yeah.
and that would have killed you, like
Yes.
killed you. And then, even if by some chance Bergen picked you up, it would have swallowed you. It would have killed you with the bite, swallowed you, and then on your turn you would have taken 21 acid damage, which is 2
Bergen
more
revive me just
things.
to kill me again. Thanks.
Basically, it's like torture at that point.
I've died 6 times already, guys.
It's like eating that live.
Me and
fucking-
Lathander have had some conversations.
Y'all just chilling at the bus station of life, like, hey, what's going on? How's everything going?
I imagine, what is it, the Skyrim where you wake up in the wagon? Hey, you're
Yeah.
finally awake. Okay,
Goldbrand laying spread eagle on the floor. That motherfucker was going to eat me.
Harshnag like
That's
picks you up by
nice.
this by the scruff of your clothing and just like, I would not have let him eat you. He might have had light nibble, but I would have taken care of you. Also, Harshnag is Russian now. Don't know where that came from. You're welcome.
So,
All right,
Goldbrand,
my
we gonna
dude.
skin this thing or what?
Yeah, let's.
It was
let's
fucking
get
likes
down
to
on it.
tries.
You can
Goldbrand gives it a good
make-
solid couple of kicks in the head.
well make an intelligence check first.
He does. You do still have bardic inspiration. Me or him?
Goldbrand, if he's wanting to be the one to, I'll say both of you make it, and this way you guys have
Like a straight intelligence, not a survival.
just straight intelligence. Yeah, this isn't to skin it.
I see what you're saying.
Just to know what to do.
I will go ahead. Oh, maybe I won't.
Davos, you gather that this thing is still incredibly hot. Its heat comes from the inside, and if you're gonna try to pry these off, it's going to deal damage to you while you're doing that. You can let it cool down for a period of time, but you cannot harvest its plates right now.
All right. I suggest to the group, should we take a long rest before doing that?
Goldbrand will look at Harshnag. Does you think it's relatively safe to camps for a times before we takes that? He thumb over his shoulder to the axe laid on the table. Back in stairs.
Harshnag, it is difficult to say if we are truly safe. We have already encountered outsiders, and I have a feeling there may be others who seek the Oracle's wisdom. This would not be a bad place to hole up, as it just has the two entrances to the north, but we should be cautious and set watches.
And there is fires over there, so he's talking to the group now. He says, it's stats. I mean, I looks like shit. I don't know if anyone else looks like shit, but he says, I could use a breather at the least. Would prefers a night of sleeps. I agrees with the giants that watches needs to be prudent. What's the word for on the lookout? Keen-eyed, sharp. You get what I'm trying to say.
We got you. Okay. So you boys want to take a long rest is what I'm gathering?
Sure.
Yeah.
I need 3 people to claim that they're going to do watch.
It's me.
Yeah, I was about to say, Mr. Big PP,
And,
him and
does-
Bergen.
Does
There's a
Harshnag count as
special-
one?
Harshnag can take a watch. There's actually a picture in the book that I wanted to share with you guys because it's of the party taking a rest, and I thought I would save it until
With
you guys
Harshnag?
actually took a rest.
Yeah, I like
yeah.
this picture.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. I didn't want to use this for his like
That's
character
cool.
picture because I wanted you guys to see how big he was,
Mhm.
but
Wow.
Isn't
you
this
can
in Storm King's Thunder?
yes, yeah, yeah.
Big.
Yeah, that's cool. I love the picture.
Yeah,
and stuff.
his literally up to his knee is as big as that. I guess that cleric, whoever has that shield there.
Yeah, Mace's shield, Claire. Hell yeah.
So, do me a favor. Well, I need 2 more people to take watch. I've got Tally.
I'll take watch.
I got a 15 passive perception.
I mean, Goldbrand has a 16, so it's not that big of a difference. He can take a watch, I guess, and still get his rest. But
Okay.
I'll
I don't
take
know,
it.
Harshnag's passive perception, I don't think is super high. Let me look.
Yeah, maybe Davos or Goldbrand
not
should take
super
it then. Okay.
Okay. Also, tell me where you guys are setting up camp.
I like to
Should we
think they're
go
gonna camp. Yeah,
by the
like
fire?
near the fireplace. Yeah, it was the warmest they've been in the last like 48 hours.
Okay.
Can
alright, go ahead.
Harshnag like move the Remorhaz corpse so like the head's just like poking out the entrance to this place to maybe ward off any fucking goblins that might be sneaking around out there?
Not a terrible idea. Yeah,
I don't know
Harshnag
if that
set it
would
up.
actually
Ward them off,
work,
or would
but-
they say, "Oh, it's dead. Maybe it's safe to go in here"?
That's a fair point too.
What if
That's
we do the
true.
tail? You don't know if he's alive or dead.
Okay. So upon following your instruction, Harshnag sets up one door slightly open and throws out a sizable bit of the tail so they could get an idea that this is a very large creature, about 10 feet or so. Lays it out. let's go ahead and have Tally roll the first perception check as you guys settle down for camp.
Goldbrand puts his back up against the one of the fucking benches and is curling up in his bear cloak. He's gonna go fucking out probably.
Tally, with a 22, your part of the shift passes without event. You do spend quite a bit of time wondering about this brazier. It doesn't seem likely that this Remorhaz started a fire, and as you assess the actual canister itself, it seems that there's a small fissure in the bottom of it. And with that high of a perception score, you gather that there's a natural gas leak that this is lit from, and that keeps this just perpetually going. And that's why this room is lit and warm and not as frosted over. The far edges of the room still are, because I mean, from the top of the room is like 120 feet away. Actually, it's much more than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11. It is 220 feet away. So it is, that bit of the room is still frosty, but everything in the center is still fairly warm here. Your night passes uneventful. Bergen, while you're sleeping, you are uneasy. You have nightmares.
Understandable.
The temple of Helm collapsing in your hometown. The stalagmite falling in the cavern of the Dripping Caves. And you're just sort of replaying these critical moments in your life, and when Tally finally jostles you awake, you're rested, but you are uneasy. Go ahead and make your check for your watch. Solid. Your shift passes without event. Ugh, hate that echo. Who is? Do we say Davos or Goldbrand for the last one?
I'll take it.
Goldbrand, while you were sleeping, you are equally uneasy. You were, God, I don't know whose echo that is, but it's killing me. Please stop that. Bloop, 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 bloop. I think it's you, Spencer.
What's that?
You've got like a weird echo going on now.
Oh, my mic's been muted. Like I got a toggle on my headset that I usually keep off when I'm not talking.
Yours is the square that's lighting up for it. I think it is you, my dude. Try to mute yourself in chat and see if that'll do it. Hello, hello. Much better, thank you. Goldbrand, you also are uneasy. Maybe it's being in this place. Maybe it's the events of the last few days. You dream of Chief Moonmusk. Not your wife, but her mother. Arvandil. And the other specters that you met at Stonestand. You wonder about their varying level of approval of what you've done. And you ponder that a bit through the night. Davos, go ahead and roll your check, my dude. 12. You're distracted. This is, again, the largest thing you've ever faced. I mean, even compared to the giants, I mean, this is a immense creature that is very deadly and so alien. You know, giants at least are somewhat humanoid, while this thing is just monstrous. And you spend a good bit of the shift, like, glancing over at its corpse, and, like, for a moment you're like, goddamn, what if it has an egg sac that's gonna hatch in the middle of the night? And just on edge, but the night goes through without issue. You all awake the next morning, or morning as you gather, best you can tell from this interior temple with no windows. What do you do?
Take that giant axe to go put back in the what's his name? Thrym. But also skin the Remorhaz.
This thing is colossal, this axe. You cannot lift it. It is
Harshnag,
easily
bro.
15 feet, yeah. Just in case you're like, I'm just gonna go ahead and take this over there to statue. No, this is 750 pounds steel great axe. It'd be big.
I can fix it up.
Motion to Harshnag. I can help.
He can't. No, he can't.
Roll a strength check. Strength or deception? I'll let you choose if you just say it or if you try.
Strength or athletics?
Athletics. I'll let you do athletics. My bad.
Dude.
Oh, you pop a hernia. You've got like.
Rip.
We won't make any lasting damage from that, but you feel something pop like in your ribs, and you're like, nope, not going to do that again.
Too old for this shit. Could have lifted that 20 years ago.
Harshnag. Small folk and their fragile egos. As with one hand he lifts it and puts it on his shoulder, and begins to make his way toward the entrance.
I tell Harshnag, if you need me to help, just, let me know.
For the Remorhaz, you guys have a limited number of chances to try to harvest this. I'm going to tell you, it's a very high DC.
Let me get.
What?
I just want to crack at it.
You want to crack at it? All right, it's a survival check.
We still have our bardic inspirations. How long will those last?
10 minutes.
Yeah, bardic inspiration, no. If you haven't used your regular inspiration, you have it. Tally, go ahead and make a survival check.
Yeah, of all the survival checks, Tally should be the one.
There's no. I mean, I'm gonna guess there's no tool set in particular I would be using for this, like an established tool set.
Not really, no. Really, it's just using the weapons and the tools that you have in your kit. I mean, you could be using a shield, like anything with a sharp edge that you can try to pry these chitinous plates up with.
Nothing doing with thieves' tools, though.
No, sir.
Okay.
You managed to successfully unlock its butthole. Congratulations. 16 does not pass. Okay, so hang on, that's one attempt.
Goldbrand can try if y'all want, and I have inspiration I can use on it.
Goldbrand, I will even say you have harvested a centipede before, which, while this is obviously a much larger creature, has a similar anatomy. So I will say you can have advantage if you want to try one.
Did I help with that centipede?
I cannot remember if you think you did.
Nice.
24. Glad you did. Glad I gave you the advantage.
Goldbrand pops his hernia back in and it gets to work.
That's beautiful.
I know that's not really how hernias work, but
that is one pass. You're gonna need 3 of these to do it, and you have 3 more attempts. So you need 2 more successes out of the next 3 attempts.
I got a +2 to survival.
Talking about big.
I'm gonna say I can get back in there if I can have 2 more.
I will say.
You also have the inspiration, so that's like.
yeah.
He's used his inspiration.
Yeah, I used inspiration on the fight.
It's. I don't want to make this too easy. Just roll 1 check for this one.
Okay.
A 20 does pass.
Nice.
All right. So Goldbrand and Tally, you guys will both have advantage on the next one because you have successfully pried 1 plate up. You know what you need to do. So you have 2 more attempts. You need 1 more success.
For each of you to do it again.
Goldbrand's gonna try again. What the fuck with all the ones today?
Goldbrand, you were unsuccessful.
Inspiration.
You do have inspiration.
We have 1 more total attempts after this, or
1
2
more
total?
attempt. After this one, 1 more.
I have advantage if you don't want to burn it.
Yeah, but
well, if he burns it now, it doesn't count as an extra attempt.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll just go ahead and burn it too, because I really want whatever this motherfucker's trying to. Enough.
That does not pass.
Come on.
That's alright. That's alright. If I didn't use it, I'd never use it.
Tally, you got 2 attempts. Or excuse me, you have advantage.
Oh,
nice.
Nice. After doing this a few times, you're very efficient at it. You know where the tendons are, you know where you need to slice, you know where you need to pry, and you manage to successfully get enough plates to form a single set of armor. A lot of the beast has taken many blows from the great axe, from your weapons, and is unsalvageable. So this is all you can get from it. But you do have enough chitinous plates for 1 set. I'll pop that in here. Did not think you guys would do that.
Nice.
It was a DC 18 for anyone who's curious.
Damn.
It was a very tough creature, so it was going to be difficult. All right. What next, my dudes?
Give Threm his axe back.
Yep.
Mhm.
You guys
Once we-
there?
I was going to say, once we
ready?
get back. Yeah.
No stealth attacks.
Let me long rest Atari and Taliband.
once we get back into the Oracle room or the main room or the temple, I don't know what you call that room.
The Great Hall, I think is what it's
The
called.
Great Hall. Once we get back into the Great Hall, assuming nothing ganks us or we don't see anything, Goldbrand does kind of want to glance around everybody and say, since we have more people than we did last time, he wants to say, ours we's alls mostly agreed on the questions that we discussed 2 nights ago. I think it would be best to decide which ones we want to ask first. Don't knows how many questions we will get.
Harshnag speaks up. I would like to ask how I may go about restoring the Ordinance. If this is agreeable, I would like to ask this question first, as I am unsure how many we may receive.
I think it's important. I think that is a better question for us to ask than why it was broken.
Harshnag concurs.
Indeed. We can push that. We can push that question down to back burners in case we have extra questions. What do we want to ask second?
I was curious about the Nightstone, but I don't know if that's...
Zatari will say, once we find out how to fix the Ordning, we may have questions about how to go about doing that. I don't want to lock ourselves in, but the brainstorming is good, but I don't want us to think like we have to ask these questions. You know, if we get more things that become more pertinent, I think I don't know, will we have a chance to discuss it in there? And Harshnag kind of shrugs, you know, never having been there before, but just wants to put that on the table.
Agreed.
I know it was discussed to ask about serving Nightstones, and if Nightstones was in danger from giants, we should allocate importance between those 2 questions.
Also agree.
Anyone have an idea of which between those 2 are higher?
I guess the giants, are they in danger of being attacked, is higher than the other one.
I would say Zat would probably agree with that.
I got fam there, bro.
Because someone else also mentioned asking if the giant lords are aware of us moving against them,
right.
which I thought that was a pretty solid question. Okay.
Now you got
Zatari
Bergen
will
afraid
say.
to turn his mic back on.
Zatari will say, I know where Duke Zalto and the Fire Giants reside. Does anyone else know where the Giant Lords are?
Does Goldbrand?
Goldbrand does not. He knows roughly the
Okay.
area that the Hill Giants and the Stone Giants sort of prowl, but he doesn't know where they're.
Okay, he doesn't know where the.
are.
Okay.
Davos, you have a rough idea of where the Stone Giants, reside, but again, not an exact idea of where they, where their home is. Bergen, I don't think would know any. He's heard, Bergen has probably heard tale of frost giants coming from across the sea, or from the sea rather, and residing somewhere in the far frigid north of the Arctic waters. Tally, likewise, you know that fire giants are in the northern territory above the high forest, but you don't know precisely where. But Zat feels pretty confident that he can guide you there.
So we meant to use a question to locate location.
Harshnag will say, I know that Jarl Storvold of the Frost Giants resides in a glacier in the northern waters, like you've said. It has been many years, many years, since I have been there. And as it is on a glacier, it is mobile. It is difficult to give an exact location. Perhaps we could ask where the giant lords reside, and hope that it answers all 6.
Not a bad idea. Lots of bad ideas. Perhaps there's no use in continuing to pontificate.
It's a big word for Goldbrain.
He's full of them. Goldbraid is deceptively wise. I will say that.
Just
Would
don't
you
ask
like
to
for
get
me
mad.
to return the
Yeah.
axe to Therum now?
You think
Yes.
something will happen when you do? Oh yes, fuck it, just do it.
Like I said, no surprise tags. I'm watching.
Harshnag makes his way up, and Harshnag is 25 feet tall. This statue is 40 feet. It is immense, and he has to sort of reach up to sort of position it, but eventually he gets the axe within the grip, and all of you look to the arch. Then nothing happens.
Goldbrain throws a rock at it.
It bounces back from the stone a few inches after disappearing into the mist,
Just like before.
just like before.
Is there like a code word? Some like sesame seeds or oh
Sesame
great Anam
seeds.
the All Father. We are here to
I'm sorry, sesame seeds got me. That's pretty fucking funny.
request your presence. I don't know.
Kind of disappointed nothing happened. Goldbrain wants to walk out and kick the arch.
I
Nothing.
turned to Harshnag. Are you sure you got that thing in right?
He adjusted a bit, and no, yes, it is in.
Is
And
it
Zatari.
even in yet?
Shut up. Zatari will go, well, it's got all these runes around it, right? Maybe they have something to do with it. We know this one is Storm. We know this one is Frost. I don't know what the others are.
Goldbrain kicks a rune.
Oh, wait.
What do you mean, oh wait?
Please tell me this is a puzzle. This would be awesome.
It's not gonna do what you want it to do, but do 1 second. Okay.
I assume it has to be one of the bottom
Nothing-
ones. Probably the only one he can reach.
No,
kick.
nothing happens.
Okay.
So there's a rune in front of each giant?
No, there's 6 runes that sort of go around the archway. It should be in our notes. I don't know if it's in the game notes or if it's in the chat. I think it's in game notes.
I cautiously touch each one left to right in the circle to see if anything happens.
You can't reach most of them.
Can I
But-
use my rapier or something to touch?
Nah, these are, I think they're 40. The top 2 are nearly 40 feet in the air. But
Jeez.
Harshnag will try to press them, and nothing happens.
Oh. Wait a second. Why... The axe was missing. It was taken out of the hands of the statues. Do you think it was to be stolen? Why was it taken out?
I don't know.
Zat will say, pretty piss poor thief if they leave what they took.
It had to be somebody big too, like another giant.
They
Obviously.
just left it on the tables.
Are you saying they use that to do something with the runes, or we need to go to a different room?
I don't have a fucking clues. I'm just a little too
Oh,
curious as to why
I am
is
so
my...
sorry. Okay, I've got to back up just a second. Goldbrain, roll a d6 for me.
Oh no.
I'm sorry.
I
I
do
thought this
that.
would happen, and I looked for it, and I couldn't find it, but I see it now. You go up, and you kick the rune on the bottom right side. And as you do that,
Blap?
a blizzard erupts inside of this chamber as the effects
Oosh.
of an ice storm takes hold. I need
Oof.
everyone to make a save. Let me double check to see which one. Fills the entire room. Oh no! A deck save, excuse me. Okay.
Second
That's a
one.
fail.
Wow.
That's a
4
fail.
to 3. Fuck that.
That's a pass. That's a fail. Roll for Zat,
Oh, I got you.
and I'll roll for Harshnag.
Dex.
Harshnag passes. So. Oh my god. Oh boy.
Good.
Not funny,
okay.
Joey.
No, it's very funny. So I need everyone who failed take 6 bludgeoning damage and 13 cold damage. 6 and 13. Total of 19 damage to everyone who failed. Everyone who passed, Devin, you do get to half that second one.
'Cause of-
So
yeah,
instead of
I got
13, you take 6.
Yeah.
Everyone who passed, which is just Davos, I think. Davos and Harshnag. Instead, you guys take 3 and 6 damage. Harshnag is resistant to the second, so he only ends up taking 6 damage total. And this happened after Goldbrand kicked
Kick the rune.
the rune on the bottom right.
Trying to shake the ice from this verse. He's like, well, it fucking did somethings.
Not as much as I'm gonna do to you. You keep kicking runes.
Yeah, Harshnag will say, "Don't do that again."
Big
Did
words
it,
from little childs.
Did the runes stay lit up or anything noticeable?
There was. Make an Arcana check for me. And somebody else can make an Arcana check. Just one other person.
Yeah, that's probably gonna be necessary, by the way.
I don't know who has solid Arcana.
I don't know any things about magics that's not star magics.
I mean,
I don't-
Satari with the runes, advantage.
He has a -1 to Arcana. He can roll, but that's not great odds.
What's yours, Bergen?
0.
Tally,
My what? Sorry.
your Arcana.
Are we rolling or just
What's your modifier?
3?
Positive 3?
Best one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll as well. An Arcana check.
Yes,
Great.
nat 20.
So, Tally, with your keen sight, you notice that all of these runes are inlaid with mithril. They've got this very keen shine to them. And when Goldbrain kicked it, it briefly illuminated before turning a slight shade of red. And then the blizzard came out and filled the entire chamber. Snow and frost and ice have begun to build up on some of the statues. You gather that you need to use the runes, but that is not the way to do it.
Does anyone know much about these? I'm sorry, I wasn't in the last session. Gods, figures, icons.
You know that each of the gods, they are giant gods, are the 6 sons of Anam the Allfather. Each of them holds a large weapon made out of a different type of material and specific to their race. That all but the Frost Giant had their weapon. The Frost Giant's axe was in the hall that you guys just recovered. You would also gather it's odd that they're removable and not just part of the statue. I mean, the giants who have armor and shields and helms, none of that is removable.
Just
Their
all of
weapons, all of their weapons are removable?
All of their weapons are. They're heavy as shit, and only giants can really move them, but yeah, they are removable.
I suggest we all go to the other room. And Harshnag, would you mind bringing Thrim's axe over to the rune Goldbrand just hit?
He nods. You
And
guys.
that doesn't work in the actual gateway. Like
That's
that
a
we
good
keep
idea, too.
throwing rocks in.
You guys all head to the southern chamber where you just were and sort of peeking out. Harshnag looks over, and once you guys are all safe, he removes the axe from Theorem once again. And he goes over, and he touches it to the bottom right rune that Goldbrand kicked. When the axe touches the rune, it again lights up with that same color, and then glows a bright blue instead of red. And the mist and the archway begins to coil and shift. Fuck, where's the part that I need to read? go. The glowing mist.
After like the blizzard
Mhm.
popped, I'm gonna take like 10 minutes. I'm assuming it took us like 10 minutes to figure all this shit out. Do this on everybody who got snapped.
Okay,
Ew.
I will
Is
allow
that
that.
each?
That is each, isn't it?
Jeez.
Yeah.
Sick.
I can
But,
figure
Prayer
it
of
out.
healing.
Loving that.
Good call on that. That's one of those things you can't
Actually,
ever
I
use in
didn't mean to hit
combat,
that,
but
but-
in between is like.
Yeah,
Alright, so
no,
everybody gets a nice
that's
little
tough.
HP boost.
Hell yeah.
As he
You're
touches
going
the
to have
axe
to teach me
to,
how to do stats. Sorry.
as he touches the axe to the rune and it lights up, the portal activates. The glowing mist transforms into churning thunderclouds, lit by flashing but harmless lightning. And you can see beyond the mist a room. The sound of rolling thunder fills the temple. The room seems simple, six-sided, statues beyond it. What do you do?
Throw a rock at it.
If Davos says something, Goldbrand throws a rock through it.
The rock goes
Through
through.
it?
It does not bounce off. Harshnag
Goldbrand's
gives you a
Goldbrand-
nod and steps through the portal.
Oh, well. Goldbrand's going to thank Bergen again. Now that he's full health again, he can say, I feels much better after that. And he was gonna do that, but he's gonna follow Harshnag.
I almost got 8
Any-
yesterday. If you look to the far right, the next area is revealed. I will say, this looks fairly close to the dungeon. You do not know how much space is in between. This portal has transported you deeper within the mountain. You do not know how far.
I say,
And,
extra
and the
code
map
in
is
here? Question.
the map is not honest. So, as you guys enter through the portal and into the next room, beyond the thundering archway, fuck you, Norton. I do not want to update my subscription.
Wow.
Beyond the thundering archway lies a
Get more
hexagonal
VPN.
chamber. A hexagonal chamber whose walls rise 50 feet above before tapering to a 90-foot high apex. Standing in each corner of the room is a life-size statue of a giant holding up a heavy iron lantern with one arm raised. Each of the giants is represented: hill, stone, frost, fire, cloud, and storm. Gonna drop a picture in chat.
Oh, is there like an artsy picture?
A
of this
cold, magical light radiates from each lantern, illuminating a giant corpse lying on the floor beneath a shroud of frost in the middle of the room. The corpse looks like it has been here for some time, preserved by the cold. Next to the body rests a giant, frost-covered morning star, and the giant wears an immense, immaculate, golden breastplate that is not frosted. Beneath the body are more runes carved into the floor of the chamber. Even in death, the hair and beard of this giant appear to be wispy clouds that remind you all of Zephyros. As you approach the circle of giants, an ethereal blue specter, reminiscent of the ghost of Stone Stand, arises from the frozen body. His hair and beard once more rise and drift like continuous smoke streams, and his cold eyes behold you all with cautious skepticism before he says aloud, "Small folk. In the eye. Well, this is quite unexpected. Ah. Harshnag the Grim. I should have known. Well, adventurers, allow me to introduce myself. I am, or was, Ygirian of the Cloud Giants, and may I be the first to welcome you into the Eye of the Allfather. Tell me, what wisdom do you seek from the Oracle?
I would kind of like to know why you died here.
Why or how?
Well, Goldbrand's it doesn't matter. He's a little sus. A body laying here?
Huh.
Yikes.
As
Long ago,
second-
my father, Blagothkus, came here with me to the Eye seeking wisdom, and the divine oracle told us that my father would lead our people to ruin, and encouraged me to overthrow him. My father was consumed by jealousy and left, sealing me within this sacred place as my tomb.
That's metals.
Actually, that one's adamantine, and this one over here is quite nice. Pointing to his breastplate.
Brutals.
Brutals.
Yikes.
still
Thought you said
a
metals.
Well, I did say metals.
Okay.
Yikes.
So he looks to Harshnag. Tell me, Pale Giant, Does my father still rule the Cloud Giants? Harshnag. His time came to pass many, many years ago, and the Countess Sansuri now leads your people. As is for the best. In my final days reflecting on my life, I came to understand him as a cruel man, unworthy of the throne. Please, I am curious, what year is it?
Is it?
1390.
I was about to say Goldbrand would know this, but I think it's 14. I think it's 15. Oh, maybe it is 1456. This is Devin. Goldbrand wouldn't know this, but it's between 14 and
most of
1500
you-
DR.
Bergen and Davos, more likely than not, probably Zatari as well would know that it is the year 1490. And when you tell him this, he looks a little sallow-faced and he goes, I have been in this temple for 140 years. A long time to wait in what equates to little above purgatory. You should know, and he points to the opening, the portal will close in an hour. The Oracle demands payments, requiring an ancient artifact of Astoria, which the Oracle will consume. The Oracle itself is an avatar of an arm, and it'll answer 6 questions before disappearing, unless you have more artifacts to offer, in which case you can offer another on the following dawn.
Okay. So we have a very short amount of time to, we
An
might
hour.
change our questions. Yeah, we might change our questions. though,
Which
so we might
is
as well
one
just-
for each of you, including Zatari and Harshnag.
It has to be divided like that.
It doesn't have to be, but that seems fairish.
Harshnag said he wanted to go first, so maybe we should just let him go first and kind of devise our questions after whatever it tells us.
Do you guys have
Should we
anything?
take a break?
It is 10:30. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, let's go ahead and take a break, and then we'll come back and see what you guys ask.
Let's pontificate about it.
Yeah.
Like old Trapper too.
I love how you just pick up like a bushel of boots and just like throw it over.
The
I do
cutest
have
bushel.
dog tax because he's being annoying.
I was debating.
Is Goblin over there?
Yeah, he's not on my side. Because I'm
Separated them for
I do
reasons.
have them separated. Yeah, because I'm
Yeah.
paranoid.
Oh, I got you.
I don't feel like putting another hole in my foot.
Yo, what happened with your foot?
I broke up a dog fight.
Oh,
Devin
that'll
gnaws
do it.
on it in his sleep. He was trying to get a toenail and just bit right through. And
Yeah. So long story short, I took in a puppy. The vet thinks he's only 10 months old, which I didn't realize. I thought he was an adolescent dog. But took in a puppy a family didn't want, and him and Roman have been doing good, but they had a fight yesterday, and my foot got caught in between them while I was trying to break them up, and a tooth went through the bottom of my toe. So that has been
That's fucking wild.
that's the craziest, weirdest injury I've ever had.
do you know if it was Roman or?
It couldn't have been Roman. Like if one of
probably
his teeth had,
needle
Yeah.
puppy teeth.
Yeah,
sharp
that's fair.
and green. If it'd been Roman, I'd be missing a toe, or the bone would have been broke, or like,
I was
You
thinking
know, I
now
just-
that puppy has a taste for blood. Better look out.
yeah. But at least
Are you opening up a snack platter?
Yes.
Cheese and
At
salami.
least I'm up to date on tetanus now. Hadn't had a tetanus. Worked 6 years in a shop. Never got a tetanus shot. Now I had to get a tetanus shot.
I'm not surprised at all that Devin has grown up Lunchables.
That's a good word for these. I love these things. I used to buy these for in-person D&Ds.
Oh yeah, that was our go-to. All right, since we got all 5 of my dudes back, sans Josh, we'll pick up with the Oracle. Do you guys have anything else to ask? Anything you want to do? Anything you want to ask Harshnag or the Igerian, I think is his name, before proceeding to the Oracle?
So he
They're not
told
gonna
us we
make me
have.
bend a spoon with my mind, are they?
He
No,
told
what?
us we have 6 questions, right?
6 questions, yes.
Okay. Interesting.
My
I've
question
been racking my
is, who's
brain.
the
I got
cutest cat ever?
Boots is definitely up there. I mean, I
I
love
got
my
something-
cat, and he's the chillest cat, but I don't know if he's that cute.
She's like the biggest biatch.
Is it because of the White Sox? Is that why it's
It's a
boots?
strong factor.
That is why
His
It's
boots.
she
all
got
4
her
feet
name.
too.
What was you
She's
gonna
got a
say,
li-
Spencer?
Are you mad at me?
Oh, just that I got nothing, and I will just defer to you guys as far as
Mhm.
the questions.
Let's see, 6 questions that's about the amount we had lined up, but I believe there probably will be some stuff we'll change our mind about after we hear some stuff.
Yeah, I don't need to know how to be a better Lord of Nightstone. If, there's other questions.
Um. So with that, we proceeding.
Yep.
Harshnag takes the skull and places it. You see now beside the body there is the circle of runes, and he looks at it. There's one large rune in the center. Looks very similar to the stylized magical runes of the exterior. He doesn't know the meaning of it, nor does Satari recognize it. But the script all around it is in giant writing. It's in Dethic. And it says, "Ask your question and know truth." He sort of glances over you and sets the skull in the center. And as the skull touches the base of the stone floor, ice begins to creep up it. Slowly at first, and then growing rapider and rapider, and just fully encasing this. And as it seals the top, it begins to dissolve and evaporate into nothing. And you hear a large booming voice ask you the same thing. In giant, I should say. Ask your question and know truth.
Where have I
Harshnag,
heard that before?
Harshnag clears his throat. How can we restore the Ordinance? And the voice responds back. You must restore King Hecaton to the throne. The Worm Skull throne. Only that can grant him the power once again to lord over the giants.
You said the Worm Skull Throne?
Worm Skull throne, yes sir. Harshnag nods a bit. Doesn't seem to be like, oh, duh, but like, it's understanding that he looks to you all. I had thought that King Hecaton had resided on the throne. His absence is news to me. He steps back a bit and is deep in thought as he gestures for whoever wants to go next to go.
So we can ask how to do that. We can ask what that means.
I mean, it seems straightforward what that means. Not that I know, where that stuff is, but
It says restore him to the throne. I guess we could ask, like, why he's absent from the throne?
yeah, I was gonna ask, does that mean he's dead?
Well, it says restore him, so I'm going to assume that means if he can be restored, he's not dead.
Right.
What do y'all think?
I
I'm
guess-
leaning towards some form of how do we do that, or why is he not on the throne, or where is he, or some variation of one of those three things.
I think starting with how do we do that is a good idea.
I was gonna say the same.
Yes.
We can maybe figure out the whys and wheres later,
Hmm.
but the how.
All right. Goldbrand will step forward. How can we restore these kings to his worm skull's thrones?
Hecaton has been captured and must be returned to his court at Maelstrom, where he once again may take up the throne.
I guess now the question is, where is he at, or who captured him?
Yeah.
At least.
Who?
But then if we ask who, that just tells us who did it, but not necessarily where he's at.
I should also say, after Harshnag asks his question, and after Goldbrand asked his question, 2 of the lanterns of the 6 giants around you went out. There are 4 questions remaining.
I guess if we ask where he is, that, I guess that's more important.
Yeah,
More
for sure.
important than who, and then we have 3 questions to play with, so to speak.
Yeah. I will, Bergen will step forward and ask where he's being kept.
Another torchlight goes out as the voice responds. His location is unknown, concealed by dark magics. Hence why his court is thrown into chaos.
Hmm.
Now we need clues and hints.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Like,
Who are our big bads? We have Zolto, who's seeking the Vonendot. We have the Winter Queen, whom I don't remember much about.
The Winter Queen, is somehow tied to the Fae and to Azazel, the Fae that you encountered when you were sealing the Fae portal.
Hmm.
Zatari will sort of throw out
Possibly the Cloud Queen.
The Cloud,
Is that
the
the
Countess.
Countess Sensory.
And then Kolkar and Gnawbone mentioned a giantess that was trying to get, what's the word? The dragons in her pocket, for lack of a better term. So that's 1, 2, 3.
Zatari will throw out, Zolto is a problem, but, all of the giants seem like they're trying to do something on a catastrophic, apocalyptic level. We know that the Thane of the Frost Giants wants to freeze the world using some magical artifact. We know that the Stone Giant chieftain wants to obliterate the creations of man. I don't know how. The Hill Giant just wants to get fat, so I don't think she's a true threat. Harshnag will... Well, never mind.
don't dragons have a bunch of dark magic?
Yeah, what of our tentacled friends? Who did they warn us of? When they jumped?
Slockrethel.
That seems pretty dark.
Do seem dark.
How would you want to phrase a question about it? We could ask, I guess, what it or who it is. We could ask if it's involved. We could ask...
I will save you guys a question in that Harshnag will say, whatever entity has the divine magics to conceal the king's location likely also has methods of concealing their involvement.
So basically, don't ask who did it.
Yeah, if it's hiding makes sense. If it's hiding the king, it can hide itself.
I was gonna say if you don't know where, you probably don't know who.
That's fair.
Just so you guys don't burn another one. Not that you
Appreciate
burned
it.
that one. That was important to learn that, he's concealed.
Yeah, that
but
he's concealed.
The Oracle can't tell us anything future-wise, like predict.
I cannot. And another lantern goes.
No.
You gather that it's... Make a religion check for me. Oh, did my creepy music stop? No, keep that
11.
up. You kind of furrow your brow a bit. You know that Anam is a god, and you know that gods have certain powers, as far as, maybe not seeing the future clearly, but having some idea of how things are supposed to unfold, or should come to unfold. Three lanterns remain.
So, I feel like at this point we can consider asking if Nightstone's in danger, asking if the Giant Lords are aware of our group. I thought we had
They
another
almost
one.
certainly are.
I would agree with that. Like, I would think that's probably a pretty safe assumption. Even if they aren't, assuming that they are is probably
But
a
are
safe
they
one.
in any more danger than, let's say, any other town? Like, you could argue that if the whole world is in danger, then Nightstone is in danger.
Yeah.
Or is it,
And
like,
peeps.
specifically Nightstone?
We could ask if plots move against the Nightstone specifically.
Right. That might be a better way to phrase it. I was also wondering if we should just simply ask, like, where to next. I don't know if we have a idea where we'll go after this.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we do.
The Oracle being all-knowing, and our friend the Cloud Giant saying that he wouldn't
Zephyros.
reveal his plans. Zephyros saying that he wouldn't reveal his plans to us, but that we're doing things in accord with furthering the ordning. Is there any way? I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Saving the world.
Right.
The path!
Yeah. Something about the path.
We could ask it's how best to walk the paths, but that might be a vague questions for us.
Right. Just
things
keep
of this
doing what you're doing.
magnitude.
Well, thanks, Oracle.
Yeah. How long have we been
Follow
here,
the
DM?
next page in the Dungeon Master's book.
Right. Wow, so meta. Truly is an Oracle. Oh, man.
You guys look up, it's just me, like, up at the top of the chamber,
Oh,
peeking
God,
through a little
that's
hole.
so creepy.
We could also ask locations of Giant Lords. It sounds like we know 1, 2, if you count Harshnag knowing.
But
Is that
we,
it?
Yeah. He
We
knows a
need to
rough
know
location,
those.
but
we just need to know those to maybe check them out, see if they're holding the hacker main guy that we gotta restore to the Worm Skull. Is that why we would want to go to their headquarters?
Maybe. I assumed at some point we would have to go stop them from whatever machinations they're doing. That doesn't mean we can't figure out where they are anyway. I feel like there's a critical question we're missing that would clear up a lot of things, and I don't know what it is.
Something about dragons?
What we should use one question to ask. What's the question we should ask?
I don't know. Maybe we should use one more question to ask something along the lines of like, what's the next best steps forward, or like, where do we begin to restore? How do we begin to go about restoring Hecatan?
I'm good with that.
I don't think
Maybe another question could be, are there allies that we've met or have not that maybe perhaps have not? Like maybe we could be directed towards another NPC that could help us.
I like that idea. I kind of think maybe we should save that for the last question if we run out of questions.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't ask it specifically how we can restore Hecatan, did we? What was question number 3?
It said restore him to the Worm Skull Throne.
yeah, restore him
We
to the
asked
Worm Skull
the Worm Skull
Throne.
Throne.
He doesn't know where the Oracle does not know where
Don't
he's
know
being
where
held.
he is. Okay, so we've
And
not.
what was the third question?
I mean, we know he's being kept. Somebody's
Yeah, I thought
holding
that
him.
was-
That's why he wasn't on.
Oh, and the Oracle, that Harshnag has been to restore Harshnag to the Worm Skull Throne. What was the third? The third.
I think the
question?
third one was like,
Yeah, but what's
where
the
is
one I'm
he?
missing? I mean,
we're like, how to restore the Ordning. Oh,
which
I
is
guess
to
we're-
get
Yeah.
return Hecatan to the Worm Skull Throne. Where is he?
which
Dark
he
Town.
didn't know. Yeah.
So who
Dark Magic
besides
wasn't true.
Goldbrand? Did you ask a question? What did you ask?
Goldbrand asked how to restore him to the throne, and we learned he was being kept.
Okay.
And
that's
then we
right,
asked
yeah.
where he was, and they didn't know.
Yeah.
So maybe we should ask how to go about restoring him, because we've not specifically asked that yet.
I mean, would the answer be rescue him from an unknown place and bring him back to the throne?
Goldbrand goes like this.
Zatari's like, well, if we ask what we can do to learn where he is, or how we can learn that knowledge, maybe it can steer us in the right way? I don't know.
I mean, stands to reasons with me is the most likely candidates are ones of these giants lords attempting to overthrow him. I wonders if it could point us in the correct directions, as you were saying.
What are you asking, fam?
I step forward and say, where should we go to be able to find out where he is? Who should we seek? Where should we?
It's a good one.
You must seek out the magic conches that the Storm King gave to each of the giant lords. The conch will allow one vessel to visit Hecaton's court.
The magic conch!
I don't get it.
It's fun.
It's a SpongeBob joke.
Oh,
Forgot about
way.
those motherfuckers.
Another lantern goes out. And it,
alright. So seek
he
out
does
magic
say, seek out the magic conches that the Storm King gave to the giant lords. Using the conch will allow one vessel to visit Hecaton's court.
Did you say Hecaton's corpse?
Court with a
Oh.
T.
I was like, wait, what?
2 questions and 2 lanterns remain.
One vessel sounds.
I think it's Tally and
Unfortunate.
Zatari
That have questions or
that still have questions, I think. If we're divvying it up by person. Zatari will say to you guys, should we ask where the giant lords are? Like, just all of them and see if he'll answer all 6? Or all 5, I
Good
guess,
idea.
if he doesn't know where Hecaton is.
Good idea.
Yeah, we still have a question after that.
Zatari steps forward. Where do the giant lords reside? And the voice tells you. Travel south, over tree, hill, and vale. Let the great river be your guide. There, on one of its eastern arms, you'll find Grudhog, the den of the hill giant chief. The conch you seek is close to her. Travel southeast, over lands high and low. Cross the great forest to the gray peaks, and search for Deadstone Cleft, canyon of the stone giant Thane. The conch you seek is in her possession. Travel west, o'er mountains, to the sea of moving ice. There, among the glaciers, you'll find Svardborg, the burg of the frost giant Jarl. The conch you seek rests on his icy throne. Travel east, over mountains and snow to the distant spires. There, on a cold mountainside, you'll find a village of the Yak folk, and below that, Ironslag, the forge of the fire giant Duke. The conch you seek is in his quarters. Travel southeast to the untamed moors, and look to the sky for Lina Marl, the castle of the cloud giant countess. The conch you seek is in a secret chest. Search the highest spire. Because that's a lot of info, I'm going to drop that in your notes. But I do appreciate the note-taking effort.
It was all cliff notes.
Another torch goes out, and 1 question remains.
How do we get rid of Tally back into the Fae? Ha, just kidding, bro.
oh, when?
I love. He was the reason we beat the Remorhaz. I'm pretty convinced.
He did dish out like a
Oh
high
yeah,
damage.
I was about to say, he did throw like 920s or some shit, like it was crazy.
I counted 4 20s.
How do we get the bards to stop telling shitty jokes?
It is inevitable. And the final torch
Thank
goes
you.
out.
Thank you, Thanos.
Alright, Tally got
Well.
last question.
Um,
Well, we know where they are.
I say we know where to go from here. I feel like this question we have more breathing room.
Yeah, does anyone have any individual concerns, your backstory concerned or otherwise?
Is Goldbrand able to extrapolate anything from specifically visions he had during his binge?
It's been a minute since we've had those binges, so I'm trying to remember the visions you had.
Well,
You saw a giantess attacking small folk.
And a
then fighting
whirlpool.
them. You saw a giant whirlpool.
and other thing.
You saw the dragon. You saw the worm skull throne, actually. You remember seeing the black
is he able
obsidian
to
throne.
extrapolate that?
You could probably put 2 and 2 together. That worm skull throne, this looked like it had 4 dragon skulls. It makes sense that it would be related. And when you saw it, it was empty, which is odd.
So Goldbrand's gonna say this more for story than anything. He doesn't. I can't think of a question at the moment, but he will mention. He'll say, some years ago's nows, deep in the bowels of bloodweeds, for many moons at the times, I have seen the thrones, black obsidians, massives. It sat on the heads of 4 skulls of dragons, and it sat empties. I do not know the significance of these objects, but it fills me with forebodings to think of these visions. So he just wants to fill the party in on that now that he has a name for it.
Harshnag. Well, not. That does match the description of the Storm King's throne. I have been to Maelstrom but once. I understand that you come from a keep of your own, that you are lords of a land. If you wish to get guidance and insight into your people's safety, I believe that would
He's
be...
chewing on his bed.
I believe...
That was not you.
Sorry.
I believe that would be a wise question.
So I guess, yeah, But see, that opens up so many more questions to just say, is Nightstone in danger? Should we say, will Nightstone suffer another attack?
Are there any plans to attack Nightstone?
Who are Nightstone's enemies?
Oh god, long list.
Who would do harm to Nightstone? I don't know.
All good options.
How do we protect Nightstone from an attack? Because I guess we really don't care who. We really want to just...
Well, if we know who, we can go kill them before they show up to our doorstep.
Maybe.
I like
Unless-
that attitudes.
That is a good how. What are you asking, my lords?
Anything along those lines, I'm game.
How does the party feel about who would seek to destroy Nightstone? Or
Good.
oppose? Doesn't
I
have to be destroying.
I kind of think we should phrase it towards who is planning. Like, because there are several parties, I guess, that could, but we would like to know specifically anybody that is currently plotting.
Or maybe even what is Nightstone's biggest threat?
That's probably even better.
Rather than, or who?
Well, that's probably going to be the person who has the dude hidden away. If they're that strong, they're probably the biggest threat to Nightstone. So specificity is probably
Okay.
leaning closer to
The planning.
yeah. In which case, can you name those that intend to destroy Nightstone? That was my question.
Name those who intend to destroy Nightstone.
Yes.
Okay.
Daphne Black Quill. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my god.
ultimate plot twist. She's been honeypotting you from the beginning.
Oh,
Um,
God.
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna have to think on this because you said destroy, and that's choice
Bastard.
words.
God.
Okay.
Semantics.
Chief Guh of the Hill Giants is furious at your refute of her at Golden Fields, and in 7 days will attack your city.
That's what we wanted to know.
Lady Morwen Daggerford seeks to absorb your empire into her own. Hang on, give me a second.
Was that the spy chick in the beginning?
No. Lady
That's the
Lady
Lady of
Daggerford is
Daggerford.
the
This spy chick was a member of the Zentarum.
yes.
Say that right?
The Iron Circle seeks personal retribution for you freeing their captives.
That's who he's talking about.
The Zentarum seeks to obtain control over your keep.
Oh, fuck that.
Hang on, there's more. Destroy. I'm being very liberal with the use of destroy.
Appreciate it.
Destroy our reign, so to speak.
Hang on. One wouldn't really. For destroy, I think that will be all.
You mother.
And the
Basically,
final,
Quite a few.
we made a lot of people angry.
the final lantern goes dark.
Run.
You stand in the now dim chamber. And suddenly, the chamber jolts as all of you feel the mountainside rumble. Dust begins to fall from the ceiling, and the ghost of Agirian looks confused and fearful. What's happening? This isn't normal. What's going on? Harshnag looks at you, wide-eyed, and says, "We should return to the temple. Now."
Does
Before
us have
running-
times to look at that bodies?
I'm
That's
running. Fuck them bodies.
Man.
You
Hey,
stay.
we didn't
I
look
asked you
at
if
it
you wanted to do
beforehand.
stuff
I know.
earlier. You
We
know
didn't look
what's
at
there.
it beforehand. Yeah, I remember now, but he's right. We didn't look at it. It's fine.
As you follow him through, returning to the Great Hall, you see the entire temple is quaking. The sound of shattering stone is deafening, and with a violent crash, part of the temple's southern wall breaks down to reveal a gargantuan, blue-skinned dragon with a maw of razor-sharp teeth, all taller than any of you. 3 immense, jagged horns erupting from the skull, dropping something into your notes. 3 immense jagged horns erupting from the skull, and hard, gleaming cobalt scales that cover the entirety of its body. 2 thick, colossal forearms and then black, scythe-like talons that crack the stone beneath as the dragon enters the room, and its long neck coils back and bristles as it levels its gaze on all of you, before bellowing an ear-splitting roar that echoes within the chamber. Immediately, Harshnag runs toward the beast as he bellows back to you, "Go!" slashing out with Gert's great axe as the dragon exhales a tempest of lightning that dances and arcs off the statues and chamber's walls. Do you try to
Uthgar's
exit?
fucking
Do you try-
ball sacks.
Do you try to
Ugh.
exit? Do you try to fight?
I mean,
Uh,
Gorbrand's gonna look around. Like, Gorbrand wouldn't run immediately, so he's gonna look around first to see if anybody else is tearing it out of there.
I mean, Harshnag just told me to run if I can safely get past the dragon to back to where we came in from.
Right now there's nothing. The dragon came in through one of the walls. You still see an open doorway from the great hall that you entered through.
I'm making my way downtown.
Is that the consensus?
Alright.
Okay. Satari's
Gorbrand's-
already
Yeah.
out the door. He's like, fuck.
Yeah,
Nah,
Gorbrand's
I
definitely gonna
might-
follow the group if the group's running.
I might try to blast at the door or something maybe, but
As you all race for the exit, Bergen, You in the rear of the group sees the roof begin to cave in and hurtle towards you and your friends. You feel that same familiar flashback to the crumbling of Helm's Temple, the stalactite in the dripping caves, and without hesitation you stop and lift your arms above. And as the roof rains down and hurtles towards you all, a large dome of radiant yellow light reaches some 20 feet above you and arcs the same distance around you on all sides. Many of the boulders impact with a crash, jarring you a bit as they begin to roll down the dome, and you tense as you see a particularly large fragment of the mountain approaching impact, perhaps 40 feet across, just as thick. When it reaches the dome, you feel an immense pressure drop you to one knee. Every muscle in your body screams in pain, and you feel your steel boots begin being pushed into the stone beneath you. Just when your body feels at its absolute limit, a warm presence fills you, easing the discomfort and seemingly shouldering some of your burden, as a familiar voice echoes within your mind. My chosen warrior, Bergen Stonespire. You live up to your name as you once again defend the helpless from the brutalities of an unjust death. The fates did not dictate that this foe would be here, and in doing so your enemies seek to rewrite the future by burying you within this place in an effort to divert the realm from the path of balance. By my mace, and for the fate of the realm, this cannot come to pass. And I empower yours to right this wrong. Bergen, you feel your mace at your side grow hot, and you look down to see it shining with a warm white light. You begin to move your hand down to grasp it, but you watch as you shift, the dome flickers and shrinks, bringing the immense stone that much closer to crushing you and your companions. You are deterred for just a moment before your faith in Helm tempers your resolve, and you steel yourself as you drop the dome. Grasp the grip of your mace and swing with all your might at the collapsing ceiling. And as you swing, the warm, radiant energy is flung from your mace to the impending rubble, and a blinding meteor of energy collides with the stone slab. You watch in awe as this immeasurable chunk of the mountainside begins to fractalize and break down into pieces no larger than your fist, and they rain down harmlessly around all of you, and even begin to fill the floor of the chamber up to your knees. As the stones continue to shower down among you, the roars and clashing of the titans in combat fill the room, and for a brief instant, you see a moment of serendipitous calm, where the falling debris grants a moment of opportunity, and you all race toward the entrance, trudging through the rubble and the precariously shifting stones, before passing into the entry hall where you first faced the barbarians earlier. You pass through the now open granite doors that once barred your entry, and you turn back to see your frost giant friend Harshnag, bitterly entangled with this immense dragon. You see his legs have turned stone gray as the lightning coils around his body, and the gray begins to creep up. It starts to take hold of his fingertips, and you realize that his flesh is being turned to stone. His immense axe falls as the petrification takes over his hands. He locks up, unable to move as the ossification now reaches above his waist, and you see a final look of dread as Harshnag the Grim turns his head to you for the last time, before swinging both of his now stone arms against the hollowed halls with thunderous might, causing the last of the roof of the temple to break free and begin to bury the dragon and the giant. The last thing you see before the collapse pushes you down the flight of stone steps is the blue dragon turning to you with a snarl, glaring at you with its dark eyes and unfathomable hatred, as the rest of the temple collapses, burying both of them in the implosion of this now ruined mountain.
Epic.
You now stand outside the ruined Eye of the Allfather. What do you do?
I just picture like Lord of the Rings music when Gandalf is dragged into the Balrog.
The Balrog.
Like
That's the second time in a row we've referenced that. That's beautiful.
Per Harshnag.
Yeah.
Rip.
let them mourn.
Those him who yelled
Their
go.
That
friend.
dragon has taken a friend. I will see its head on our fucking keeps.
It's a
Was
big
that
ol' head.
fucking Aerometh?
This dragon is colossal, and you gather it's as large as Old Gnawbone, which you know is an ancient dragon. You were told of a blue dragon, once before. The Doom of the Desert was the name that was given to you.
Oh yeah, the lightning.
How did he turn him to stone? It was kind of just like out loud rhetorical, I guess.
Yeah. This
I don't know how it turned him to stone, but I think he'll be able to turn him into let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets of armor when we're done with him.
Can I get a
would
perception
think-
check from Tally, because we all know Tally has the biggest peepee.
Does-
Jeez.
27. All right, that'll do.
Jeez.
Tally, you watch as rising from the nearby cliffside, a pair of golden wings attached to a small silver dragon. As that dragon rises, you realize it's not a dragon at all, rather a figurehead attached to a large ship that ascends upwards from the ravine through the clouds, with tall, spiked sails that almost appear like wings themselves. As the ship rises, you see several small chambers connected to narrow hallways to the rear of the hull, fine rigging, and 6 billowing flags of different metallic colors. A name is written on the port side of this vessel: the West Wind Wyvern. And standing on the deck, you see a few figures, one of which in particular stands out to you: a platinum-scaled dragonborn with wings, who leaps from the side of the ship and glides over to you, skidding to a stop in the snow about 20 feet away. Hail, adventurers. I am Taijin, follower of the Platinum Dragon, who has sent me here to aid you. You must act swiftly. Not even a mountain can slow down the doom of the desert for long. Please, join me and my crew, and we will get you to safety before the Dragon of Statues can shake off this blow.
No need for insight checks. All aboard.
A plank.
Goldbrand's a little sus, but does he know that platinum dragons are good? Like, is he vaguely aware of good and bad dragons?
So almost all of you are aware of Bahamut, the Platinum Dragon, the one of the primary gods, even in the Faerunian pantheon. Normally, draconic gods have their own subsect, but this was a god that was deemed worthy to be a part of the traditional order of religion within Faerun. You would also know that metallic dragons are good from your talks with Naxine, so you would know that the Platinum Dragon is a good force.
All right, he's going to do what Tally says.
A plank is lowered from the railing of the ship to the cliffside, and as you walk aboard, you see 5 other figures who seem to be manning the ship, hoisting sails, charting a course, prepping cannons, and manning the lookout. As you rise above the jagged peaks, the winds grow intense, battering the ship and buffeting all of you and the crew aboard. But after just a few minutes, the ship begins a steady descent, and you see in the distance the valley of Kedrun before you. Taijin turns to you. I thank you for your haste. I apologize, but it is important that we get as far away as possible as swiftly as we can. Bahamut, the king of the Draconic Pantheon, has sent us here to help you, after it was discovered that the Doom of the Desert somehow learned of your presence within the temple. The dragon gods, the good dragon gods, knew that if the wicked blue dragon could catch you there, it would spell doom for not only the dragons and giants, but all life on Faerun. But I have been hasty. Allow me to introduce myself and my crew. This is gonna go in strongholds and followers.
I just gotta say, you found a much cooler airship than the given one.
Oh, I found a lot of cool shit about this. Hang on. Now that you're looking at him, Taijin is a platinum dragonborn with wings, of course. He wears rough leather gloves and boots, loose trousers, and a thick red leather belt. And you see around his neck is a symbol of Bahamut, the platinum dragon. He points to a high elven man wearing thick plate mail, as well as wielding an embellished greatsword. He says, "This is Khaled," who gives you a nod and says, "Pleasure." This, as he points to a dark-haired woman in violet robes, is Penelope, a cleric of the goddess Tamara. Happy to be of service. Jesse is the dwarven man in studded leather armor there. You see a thick mane of red hair and a stump where one foot ought to be. who just gives a simple nod. Kaya, as he points to a drow woman with long white hair dressed in billowing skirts. A follower of Kareska, the goddess of dragon magic. Certainly glad we arrived here when we did, boys. And lastly, Nissa. And he points to a white dragonborn woman with blue robes and a crystal-topped staff, who tells you, "Welcome aboard. Where are we setting a course for, Captain?" As Taijin turns to you, "Where can we escort you to?"
How long would it take to get to Nightstone?
He turns to Nissa and asks her, and she immediately sets out a map and finds it just southeast of Waterdeep, and you see her take a compass and chart it out. 7 days, if the weather is in our favor.
You motherfucker.
Well, we're gonna call them regardless.
Don't wanna-
Wait a second. Gomer was gonna say that to Tally. Just a second. But
Yeah.
I think it would be best. Well, first thing he'll look at Tally and says, "You need to call Miss Daphne's and tells them to prepare." The second thing he would say is, "I think it's best if we return as quickly as possible. If apparently the weather's in our favors, we will return in times to deflect these fat bastards."
Nissa nods and begins shouting commands and orders, and you watch as Penelope and Kaya and Taijin all begin to set up different rigging, and they turn away from the Valley of Kedrun and Mirabar and start to head southward. You do see as Jesse and Khaled head to 2 large side chambers that each have large open circles on the sides of them, and you can see them working with cannons, and they are preparing in case the dragon would give pursuit. At this point, you gentlemen want to talk to Nightstone, yes? Okay, go ahead and initiate.
Beep, boop, beep.
Who's making the call, I should say?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think
Tally
whoever
has
has
it.
the
Tally,
stone.
you remove the
Yeah.
mirror, and you say the command word Nightstone. The fog, the mist creeps in white, before turning a slight off green, a pale, pale green, and then settles to reveal 285, who seems to be boredly waiting at the mirror before seeing you. Oh, hey, what's up? What's going on? What can I do?
You know the drill by now.
Daphne?
Yep.
No one ever wants to talk to me, and he runs off, and within about 30 seconds or so, you see Daphne coming in. Ah, welcome, my lords. How may I be of assistance to you?
Allow 285 to stay. He can listen. But,
You see him in the background? Yes.
where do we begin? I turn to the party.
You need to prepare defenses immediately.
Oh my, from what, exactly?
Hill giants. Yeah, is that what this hill giants?
I recall of your exploits with the hill giants in Goldenfields. Yes, I will tell Sidiri once right away. Do you know when we will? Are they headed this way now? Or is this something that's is imminent? Is this? How much time do we have?
7 days.
She goes a little pale. She's already a pale pink. You know, it's at this point very very light mauve, and she goes, well, I will do what we can to prepare the fortress.
We hope to return the days of the battles. No promises.
Can we set like extra workers? I don't know if they can do this. Maybe they can't, but to like maybe get that octopus pit up and running before we get there.
Let me see where you are in the calendar. You guys are almost 3 months through, by the way.
I was about to say, I thought everything we asked them to do
Would be
was gonna-
almost done.
She tells you that they just finished the expansion of Nightstone. To adding landmass to it. They have the palisade back up on the new land. They've diverted the river successfully. She says if you would like, they could get the octopus up. Octopus. The octopus pit up.
Octopit.
Go pit.
The octagon. It's a cage fight. And I'll tell you how many days that'll take.
If it's more than 7.
It's not more than 7. It's not a whole hell of a. She tells you that she can definitely get it up before it is needed. 4 days.
So this is more for Devin than Goldbrand. That goes around the town or around the keep?
From what you had discussed and what you had started with your own efforts, you had separated. You were planning on doing the area between the city and the town
keep.
itself.
Okay. I guess we can pull everyone in the town into the keep if we have to. I guess the keeps do that. Okay. Okay.
I would say get him to start doing that.
She says, very well. I will put the scribe and the blacksmith? Yeah. The scribe and the blacksmith upgrades on hold, and we will proceed with the pit immediately.
Alert the druid and her threes that they could be needed.
Absolutely. Thara has been residing with Haral in the temple of Lathander and Malaki, her chosen goddess. We will be able to amass all these defenses. I know that Sadiri will ask. The levies. Would you like me to prepare them?
That's how Devin feels. Goldbrand does not feel that way.
Is that the people we sacrifice in a fight?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Levies are like
levies are like the
commoners.
commoners, yeah.
You put them in the front line literally just to be meat shields. Like for your archers and stuff.
My mom and sister might be a part of the levies, I would say.
It wouldn't really be them per se.
Yeah,
it would
it's
really
the farmers,
be
not the
the
royalty.
farmers, the working, the carpenters, the working people. She says, I will be more than happy to follow whatever judgment you desire. But I should warn you, if we do prevail in this fight, it will be difficult to rebuild and recover without the lifeblood of our city. But we stand at your beck and call.
Oh,
I say don't prepare him.
Yeah, we might be able to get back into that.
We may be able to call the cloud giant friend Zephyros.
Yeah. I was also thinking we could alert some.
Waterdeep.
Not Waterdeeps, but Rons.
Rond has been in close communication since the events of the battle for Nightstone. He will be at our side.
Julie of Goldenfields owes us favors as well.
I could have a messenger
What,
there in
2
3 days,
weeks
but
away?
it would be tight. Perhaps if you could use the mirror. Do you have a contact within the city?
Perhaps.
I will send one. If you can get in touch with them, it will. Just let them know that they may encounter a messenger that they can send back to us. I will tell her that we call for aid. Gondor calls for aid.
The beacons are lit.
It's about this time that the mist begins to fade. You still have 2 uses of your mirror. Today, I should say.
Doozy wants to call your blueskins to girlfriends.
Will she be of any help?
She could be in Goldenfields.
That's true. But yeah, we might as well. How do I,
Can I say her name,
I'm
right?
gonna make you squirm a bit, yeah.
Safine.
You watch, the mist creeps in once more white, begins to shift to blue, as once again the familiar visage of Safine appears. She goes, Ah, welcome, my lords. What can Mama Safine do for you today?
Do you remember Guh?
I'm afraid to say I'm unfamiliar.
Well, when we fought those hill giants in Golden Fields, we sent one of them
yes.
back to her.
Oh, that is correct. Yes, that Thibodeau, I think his name was. Yes, I do recall. Why do you ask?
They may be, they may intend to visit Golden Fields once more, or Nightstone for that matter.
Oh my. I regret to inform you that I am some ways away from Golden Fields now, but I could scry upon Maxine and deliver a message unto her. I will have her deliver the message to Ji and have her prepare the forces. They need to defend Golden Fields, yes?
Correct?
I will have it done. Y'all take care of yourself, Shug. Be cautious.
Likewise.
Unless you have anything else, the mist begins to dissolve once more. You have one remaining charge today.
We can call Zephyros if y'all want. That's the only other person I could think of. But
Yeah, if he could either get us there quicker, or
We're on an airboat, aren't we?
yeah, I don't
You're
know.
on an
Shit.
airship,
bro, I
which
don't
is
know. You could imagine
the fastest method of transportation at the time.
is what we're on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
and
like
you would
Final
gather.
Fantasy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and you would gather from looking over the side, you're moving quicker than Zephyros' castle does. His castle is very much sort of drift with the current kind of thing. This is propelled by some means. You can't necessarily gather what, but it does seem to be harnessing the wind. You're not really sure what's keeping it aloft, but it's moving much quicker
Hypothetically,
than the tower.
If all 6 of us went to the back of the ship and flew really hard, we get there like 30 minutes sooner.
I love it.
That's what I asked the captain. You know, is there anything we can do?
Tashin sort of just, I mean, he's been up at the helm, guiding the ship, and he looks down at you like, you do not have much experience sailing, do you, Bard?
0, as a matter
Then-
of fact. I
Then
say
make
confident.
yourself useful. Play us a tune.
Wow, rude.
The shanty man gets a whole bottle. I mean,
Oh man, I was debating vicious mockery. Nah, I'm gonna let it go. I just mumble under my breath, frigate, because he's he's a dragonborn.
Hmm.
Yeah.
He's gonna say something racist. Like,
Yeah, I was like, nah.
staying in character for Davos.
Yeah, but I keep it under my breath. He
Think
hears
good.
me mutter,
No, I won't.
mumble in contempt.
He doesn't seem to respond or notice or.
he gets a little cranky when he's hungry.
Who,
Anything
Captain
else
or me?
You is
Anybody got a Snickers? No, real question though, is there anything we could do to speed it up at all?
yeah. If we try
If
to help
you-
man the ship,
If you ask
Right.
Taijin, he says, to be completely honest, it only takes 3 people to run the ship at a time, while the others do assist in making us a little swifter. Unfortunately, without any experience, you would potentially be more of a hindrance than a help. You are welcome to observe and see if you can help us in the future. But for at least the first 3 days, I would say you are not quite ready to take any of the positions.
If I could shave a day off, I'll take 3 days training.
Okay. So each of you who want to do this can pick one of the positions. There is the gunner, who handles the cannons. There is the spotter, who mans the crow's nest and is basically the watch. There is the navigator. There is also the mate and the captain, who, aside from getting everyone to be on the same page and correspond and communicate, also seem to be tending to stuff as far as commanding people to do certain riggings and to take certain actions when the wind shifts and when certain things occur. So there are 5 positions, 4, excuse me. Spotter, navigator, captain, gunner.
I feel like spotter would be beneficial to have a higher perception. Yeah.
Yeah. This is less. Yeah, I mean, it would make it easier, but anybody could be a spotter if they so desired.
Okay, so it's not like
Not a requirement by any means.
Right.
is navigation, so to speak, intelligence or wisdom based?
Don't think of it so meta, Devin.
Oh, okay. I thought you were using rules from what's it called?
No.
Salt Marsh.
Oh no, not that either. There was a homebrew thing I looked at briefly, but I'm not using necessarily the exact rules from that.
The only other question would be, if we do anything, would it help us in other situations of the game? Like if, for example, you learn Captain, you get a +1 to perception or something.
Not so much directly like that. In the confounds of if for some reason the crew were incapacitated and you had to step in, you would have
Right.
an advantage as far as making those checks successfully. If you were ever on a ship, a lot of these skills are transferable. You know, the cannons on this airship are very similar to the cannons on a regular ship. Even the mast and the rigging is similar to a degree. You know, wind is wind as far as what they're harnessing for momentum.
Well, if Zatari ain't a gunner, I'm pretty sure he's gonna be mad.
That's
Yeah.
fair. So we'll put
Definitely
Zat
putting
there.
him there.
What are the rest of you? And you can double up. Like, it doesn't have to be one person doing each one, obviously, because there's only 4.
Would my perception assist in the spotter position?
It would make it easier, but not
So
required,
Goran-
I say.
Government's actually interested in doing prescience over the trip, so he does not have to take a position. He will if it's beneficial, but you know he actually has something he was thinking about doing. So
No, that's very good.
I'll take whatever spot is open.
So I think we have Tally and Spotter. We have Zatari and Gunner. That leaves the Navigator and the Leadership open.
I'll do Navigator.
Okay, Bergen's gonna take Navigator. And
All right, guys, you're twisting my arm. I'll hang out.
Sir
with Penelope
Captain
for 3
Davos
days.
Lightbringer.
I was.
Oh, I
thinking,
love it.
I was
Just
gonna be Penelope's last mate.
last.
Well, that's
Ooh,
good because Goran
What?
wants to flirt with
That sounds like
Kaya,
a threat.
So
Hope y'all like this. I threw this together like literally this morning because I thought I changed this from what was in the book. It was supposed to just to be dragon cultists who were cultists of an evil dragon, and I'm like, I really don't like that. So I'm like, what if the good dragons were trying to help out? And
the
so
airship's a lot cooler. The one that he's picked is a lot
yeah.
cooler.
So do me some favors. Bergen, make a wisdom check. Tally, make a perception check. Davos, make a charisma check.
Heck yes.
Solid. Not with advantage, but not like that fucking matters. Jesus. And Goldbrand will do your prescience in
Are
just a
you
second.
serious?
All right, so we're doing this for the course of the
Double
3
did that.
days. You all gain experience. There's not a DC that I was going to require you to get the baseline experience, but if you're doing it on your own, you would have to make checks. So here's how you're. Somebody roll for Zatari for a strength check.
Goran does want to take a moment with Bergen sometime during this trip, but he can wait. What did you say? What check did you say?
Zatari a strength.
Oh, that's not too bad.
That's a
Um,
save.
That is a save.
Oh, thank you. This is bad.
Four.
It's even worse if it's just a check. Here we go.
A little better. All right, so here's basically how this goes. For the next 3 days, you guys follow along these people of your selected role, and you gather that they do it 3 in the morning, 3 at the night. And while all of them seem to have their preferred role, they are versatile. A lot of them fill in for other people. But for the essences of training you guys, they do seem to be rather straightforward. Here's a few things that you guys pick up. Taliband, with that pretty solid perception score, you glean quite a lot. You are able to assess the terrain from a different vantage point, and you've taken your map out and are sort of recognizing landmarks and certain figures and identifying cities. And Kaya is teaching you about how not only to recognize the physical things on the ground, but how they affect wind currents and how they, she tells you along the trip you spot a few things, like there's griffins over to the east. That is near Griffin's Nest, an encampment that uses them quite frequently. As you pass over the Evermore, you see the Cloud Giant Castle, which she points out to you. It says, the Countess Sansuri runs that. She's rather unfriendly, so we try to keep our distance. You also spot a few other odd, common flying creatures. And you see the forest, the high forest, where you're originally from, and you've always known it's massive. I mean, you've lived there, but it literally goes beyond your sight. It is just forest for miles and miles and miles. With that perception, you would also glean each of these crew members has a different emblem, a religious emblem. You don't recognize a lot of them because it's not necessarily your forte, but they all are slightly different. It's not like they're all worshippers of Bahamut or all worshippers of this god or that god. Bergen, with that wisdom,
Hold up, Jay. I don't know if it's relevant, but the relevant roll was the crit. The 27 was from spotting the ship.
Oh, thank you. It doesn't make a large difference in what you notice beyond that, but I will say with the crit, you do strike up a conversation with Kaya, and she tells you that you recall that he had mentioned that her goddess is the goddess of dragon magic, and she nods affirmatively. And yes, in fact, it's said that her blood runs within my veins. And from that, you glean that she's a sorceress. For a crit, you get a nip slip too, but we'll call that a day. Bergen, with your wisdom check, you and Nissa actually go below deck, and behind the captain's below the captain's quarters, there is a large map set up with a more formal station rather than the compass and the smaller map that she was using, and she has several identifiers and markers upon it, and she's telling you about how to work your way through the mountains, and how it's different sailing over water versus over land, and how certain areas that she knows to avoid because of dragons or giants, the cloud giants, for example, that pose a threat. And you get a sort of an insight to that. Davos, you try to take to the role very firmly. You're like, all right, I've got to learn how to be in charge, so I'm gonna try to boss people around. So you try bossing around your friends, and they kind of, they fuck
Piss off.
Exactly. But Penelope finds it charming, if nothing else, and she tells you, you don't need to be so forceful. It's much less about telling people what to do and telling them what they need to do to survive. Once you get that behind you, you'll find they listen a little easier.
Just a little case of performance anxiety. It happens to everybody.
She's like, oh.
It's common. It's common all the time.
She taps you on the shoulder. Oh, I'm sure it is there, big fella.
I can give you herbs for that, friends.
Being with Taijin, you find him rather stoic. He doesn't seem very conversative. He tells you that the wheel controls a rudder on the rear of the ship, which helps control some of the direction, but it is largely done through the masts. And he tells you how to which riggings to swap to where, and how to adjust the sails to get the best wind current from different angles. He also tells you that it is a fire elemental that is powering the ship, that is actually giving it the lift. It's not propelling it forward, but it is giving it the ascension, and then they are harnessing the winds to actually be guided around. Devin, for Zatari, he follows around, we'll say Khaled, who tries to teach him the basics, and Zatari is fascinated by the cannons himself, but doesn't seem too good at the actual, he's used to loading things rather dexterously, and working in a strength-based capacity, he seems a little underwhelming. But throughout the entire trip, no one is abrasive or rude or anything together. You gather that they have been traveling for a number of years. And I will say with the crypt perception that, Tali, you pick up that for the last month they've been searching for Felgalis, the brass dragon that you had met on the Tower of Zephyros about 6 weeks ago.
It's Unite.
What?
I saw him on a crit, and then I noticed that they were looking for him. That's some damn dots to connect.
If you want to share anything about that, you're welcome to. But you seem to gather that was their previous mission before Bahamut had instructed Taijin to go to the spine of the world to this location and recover you in a way.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'd certainly, once I understood that was their mission, I'd mention having seen him.
Taijin is rather interested in this. You met with Felgalis.
Yeah, he gave us these, and I held up the tricky
The
dice.
fishy dice?
Fishy
That would be his, yes. Do you know where did you meet him? You say in this tower, but where was the tower?
In the sky.
Well, we are in the sky right now. That does not help me. Where specifically was he?
Are you familiar with Zephyros?
I have heard of him.
It is his home.
But his tower, it is mobile. where geographically were you?
Between Nightstone and Goldfields, I believe.
Yeah, you were a little east of Waterdeep, I think. Yeah. And if you relay that, do you know where he was going? Where he left for?
My friend, I could put you in contact with him now if you'd like.
Felgalis.
No. Zephyros.
That would be helpful. If you pull out the mirror and call Zephyros, and after the glass turns gray, Zephyros appears, and he and Taijin speak briefly, and Zephyros tells him that he was going to the Cloud Castle, where Countess Sansuri resided. He was seeking to confront her about getting involved with the affairs of humans and taking the Nightstone. Other than that, I'm going to have you guys roll all those checks one more time, and if you do well, it'll determine if you get there early or not. Hang on, I need to check my DC on this. I mean, you can go ahead and roll, but... Okay.
Tare is sore and does even worse.
Oh, Goldbrain, it's all down to you.
Well, he didn't have a check. He wanted to do some.
Oh, that's right. There's only 4 of you.
Hmm.
Fuck, I was gonna have it to be 3 passes, but that was 3 out of 5. Okay, I will say between the navigation and the spotting, that you two do manage to get there a little bit earlier. You arrive late on the 6th night. So it is tomorrow is the 7th day. You have less than 24 hours preparation. Before we do that, we'll put a pin in that for later. Taijin does tell you, I should have you know that's the dragons do wish us to be of aid to you. If we can be of service in this fight or in the following actions, we would be most happy to.
So, like, we have a ship on call now?
More or less what he's telling you.
Stop it, you fucking bitch.
Until Bahamut grants him other instructions.
You guys want to shoot down some giants with your cannons?
Jesse, the gunner, who has been rather quiet, goes, "It would be my fucking pleasure to fire this into the chest of a hill giant." And he,
I like this one.
10 gold if you hit him in the head.
You can take. Oh, make that a fucking bet, and he dropped it down. And
That's for serious. I will give him 10 gold if he can take out.
I've got it noted.
He deserves it.
Davos, and I'll say on a crit, Davos gives 10 gold.
So can Goldbrand not
Suggested.
do his prescience in the first 3 nights that they're training?
You can. I'm sorry. I was just trying to get through that.
I feel you.
So go ahead and remember that
Yeah,
you
I was
have
looking
a
at my
+2,
notes.
and you were
I can
instructed-
look for things.
You can try to
so to
you can
speak.
try to seek out things.
So that's my question: is like, does he get 3 rolls each for the 3 nights? Does he only get 1 roll? Like, because that's going to decide kind of what he looks for, so to speak, and how many hits he takes.
Well, it's the first night you're gonna try to experiment. So you'll get a roll for the 3 nights.
1 roll, 2 rolls,
1 roll.
1 roll.
Well, 1 roll unless you want to do the additional bumps and stuff. In which case, that may affect your future rolls.
Okay, so
Actually,
the first night he's gonna take 4 hits.
Oh
and-
God, dude.
Yeah, he's gonna take 4 hits.
So
and he
that's
wants to
with
seek-
advantage, +4, plus
4.
6 total,
Yes,
-3 to your
3
initiative, and 1 level of
level
exhaustion.
exhaustion. Which all of that should clear after a long rest. Like he should be good the next day.
1
None
level
that
of
should
exhaustion will clear, yeah.
Yeah, so none of that. So he should be fine on day 2. But let me make that wisdom insight check. Insight check. Plus.
Well, the level of exhaustion, this sort of because you're doing this overnight, it interrupts your long rest for that night. So the level of exhaustion is for day 2.
Oh, and then clears on day 3.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I see.
But you do have 7 days. 10,
So that's technically
16.
16. Yeah.
Well, you
and
have
I
a
get
plus-
advantage.
Okay, yeah.
26.
26 is much better. Now, what are you seeking out?
He's gonna look for the fate of Nightstone. He wants to get a glimpse of, like, how are we gonna do in this battle? Is Nightstone gonna come out of this okay? Kind of deal.
Okay.
Is there something
As you-
specific he can do to make sure Nightstone doesn't crumble?
As you meditate on this, you see a flurry of visions. You see Thibodeau. Within what you can imagine is Grudhog, a dank, disgusting pit. Pleading with a large giant woman, rotund, probably 20 feet in diameter sphere, which is quite a bit bigger than Boudreaux and Thibodeau that you had met previously. And you do understand giant, so you pick up that he is... Oh, wait. You don't hear things. Right? You just see things? I forget how we... I think we've been doing this just sight-based.
So that's kind of up to you. I don't know
Okay,
if he's heard things.
you see him pleading and her shouting and her arm fly out, wobble of fat beneath it. And you see as several hill giants grab clubs and stones and begin to march out. And you see goblins. And you see ogres. And you see scores of them go. You another vision comes where you see them marching, and there's quite a few of them.
A few armies worth.
I will say, you gather. This is a little meta. There is twice as many goblins as were there for the battle at Nightstone. There are quite a few ogres. Not as many as goblins, but a sizable chunk. And there is a battalion in of itself of hill giants. You see them approaching Nightstone, and you see the Nightstone Guard, the Ardeep Rangers, the very vessel, the Westwind Worm that you're on now, the Westwind Wyvern, excuse me, that you're on now, firing on them. You do not see a resolution.
At least we'll get theirs in time. Skullbrand says they're all a fucking snot. 4 hits. Ugh.
Yeah. You do glean that from the ship was there, so we must be there.
Yeah.
Okay, so day 2. You are exhausted for this day. Do you want to try anything?
He does. He's only going to do one more because this isn't, in his mind, not quite as important. He, let me see here. He can take 3 hits without doing another level of exhaustion. So
Correct.
he'll do 3 hits the next day, which will give him +4 total and advantage. He wants to look at the tribe.
Okay.
Try to look at the tribe.
Solid.
The second one roll?
Yeah, that's a 27. Or no, I'm sorry. You get a +4, so 25. You see a few visions. You see Hydia within a cave. Your 2 bears at her side, which
Good
I have
boys. Good girl.
I have their names written down, but I'm not going to spend the time to dig that up.
The female is Yona, and then I can't remember the male's name.
Bjorn and Yona.
Bjorn and Yona.
You also see a smaller cub, also a bear, which was not there when you left.
Oh, so he doesn't know his name. Devin does, but okay.
Yeah. Your vision blurs again, and you see your tribesmen raiding a town. It's unclear of when this is. It feels like the future. Nondescript, nothing that you recognize. And with the 26, you see that there are stone giants there with them. They do not seem to be fighting each other.
Oh, that clears up some things for Golbrand. Oh, shit.
I think you see one more thing. Let me look at this. Okay, no, that's a separate seeking, we'll say.
I see. Interesting.
Did you say the hill giants have stone giant allies?
No, he said that the barbarians were
Okay.
raiding a town with the stone giants. All right.
Oh, actually, I'm sorry. With your 26, you saw one other thing at the hill giants when you were scrying upon them.
Yeah.
You saw a conch.
Oh, the thing.
You saw it on the side of the cart that Chief Guh
She's
sits
sitting
in.
in. Okay. So Goldbrand feels like shit for a day or two, but he does. Yeah, I'm not gonna waste y'all's time. He'll relay everything that he heard, that he saw about the hill giants. I don't think he's gonna say anything about presciencing his tribe. He's not gonna hide it. Y'all would have seen him take a hit again the next night, but he does not immediately expound upon what he looked at that night.
Any chance of maybe peaceful resolution with these hill giants? I got some high persuasion.
It seems to me as they are bringing armies. It does not seems like it's. I saw the shells. The siege, the conch, I guess it was, sitting next to Guh. I guess we know her name.
Would we
It's-
know? I'm
did-
sorry.
Did he see Guh there?
Yeah, Guh was the large, rotund woman that.
But
you
did
saw
he see
was-
Guh at the battle?
You did not.
Okay.
And since you asked to specify, while a lot of hill giants left, not all of them.
Okay.
Seems like most of the goblins, most of the ogres left, but there are still hill giants who are residing there within Grudhog.
I did not seize the most fat ones on the battlefields. I do not know if this bodes for goods or for ills. I saw this ship, which means we should arrive on times.
Speaking of these conches, do we know if they have any magical abilities? Like, I guess I asked the captain of the airship. Would he know anything more about these magic conches?
He does not. He tells you that he is not tied in to giant affairs very much. They have waged combat against giants a few times, but he is not attuned to. Like, if you tell him about the Ordning or anything, all of that is news to him. He doesn't know anything about. Yeah, he knows that certain giants are stronger, but he doesn't. He didn't know that there was a structure within, like, the giants. He thought that it was all just, every tribe for themselves.
But it's just you opening stuff and you.
I will say.
What about the Dune Dragon?
One more time?
Desert of the Doom of the Desert.
Doom of the Desert.
The Dune Dragon.
If you ask, the Dune Dragon. Now I got what you said. If you say that, he tells you that she typically resides in the deserts east of northern Faerun, the Anarok Desert. That as of late she has been. Recently she displaced two of her children who have since been wandering north of the High Forest and in that part of the Vale, and that she has grown more hostile. He doesn't know why she was at the Temple of the Allfather. He doesn't know how she came to learn of it, but he knows that it was not meant to be. She used some sinister powers to discern that you were all there. And
Right, why would she be after us?
because he tells you that there are many who watch the path of balance. That there are those who wish to preserve it, to preserve dragon and giant and humankind. There are those who wish to topple it into their kind's favor. And there are those who seek all three of them to fall into ruin. He cannot say for sure what she is aiming for, but she is certainly not. She is not for preserving the balance. And she thought that by stopping all of you at the temple, that she might be able to be a step closer to whatever her goals may be.
How would she know we were there? Is the town that was right before the mountain pass okay?
He says that Mirabar is fine. That you could actually see it probably at the first day of your journey. But he does not know how she came to know of your location there or of your importance within the path.
How did you guys know where we were?
He tells you that Bahamut, his god,
Oh yes.
told him that he was to take his crew there and recover you from the mountainside before the doom of the desert escaped.
You think there's any chance we could save Harshnag?
If you tell him of what happened, he looks a little grim, and he says that the doom of the desert is also known as the Dragon of Statues. She is known as such because she has the rather unique ability to petrify her foes. There may be ways to amend this, but if your friend is buried within the mountainside, I do not know if his statue would be in one piece, if you could even get to it if it were. It's a difficult quandary. They say that her realm, deep within the Anarok, is littered with these statues. Trophies of sorts, of her various conquests. I'm sorry.
Goldbrand
So
makes a
then-
grumpy, sad face.
You would know how to kill a dragon.
He laughs a bit. Much easier said than done.
I
Typically,
would imagine.
what you can, the same way you would kill anything else, just in much larger force.
Guess maybe like future, if we ever attack a dragon, could we go back to this and be like advantage on history check or something?
Depends on the check, you know. If you're trying to learn something in particular about something that you guys have had a glimpse of, then yeah, you could probably get some type of advantage. It is after midnight. We're gonna do one more quick thing, and then we'll call it a night. Goldbrand, after your second session of prescience, Kaya approaches you.
Oh, hello,
she's-
pretty drow woman.
She says, "You best be careful. It is dangerous to peer too far on the horizon. Many have been driven mad by what they cannot reach." And she sashays her way below deck as her shift draws to an end.
Was that a sex joke?
Tally, who is currently up on like the crow's nest, saw all that, by the way. With that 27, he saw fucking, or 29, he saw everything on this fucking whole ride.
Yeah, I mean,
I
he
have
wasn't. He
X-ray
didn't.
specs on.
Yeah, he didn't hide the second session, but he didn't.
No, yeah.
He didn't say anything afterwards. I don't know. I like to think he probably would have made some kind of quip. I could not formulate one about his. I don't know. He likes to think he's consumed more bloodweed inside of, you know, in a period of weeks than she could consume in her whole life.
Then Kaya?
Yeah.
You don't gather her to be, you can make an insight check if you would like.
He just assumed that she knew what it was, since she knew what it was doing, that he knew what was, that she knew what it was up, or that she's. I guess she doesn't have to take bloodweed to look down the path. Da 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 da. Sorry,
Maybe she
cat's
just
in the way.
knows
Okay.
someone in her past.
You don't gather that she was a user of bloodweed. It's even difficult to say if she knew precisely what you were doing, or if, I mean, her words are very heavy-handed in don't gaze too far down the horizon. But you also know there are other methods of fortune-telling, of soothsaying, of sight. She may be a practitioner of one of those. She may know someone who is a practitioner of those. She may, and oh no, not with the 10.
Yeah. Goldbrand's feeling shitty. We'll stick with a
Look at
kind of scoff. Yeah. He's like, Man, out of spite, he would take another hit, but it's too late now.
All right.
Oh.
With that, my dudes, we're gonna go ahead and call tonight it. Thank you for hanging on for that roller coaster of combat and questioning and collapsing temples and rescue. Bergen, I did forget to tell you, you do get a special feat out of that. You can now make ranged attacks with your mace. And your
Nice.
mace is now a
Jealous.
+1 mace.
Oh,
So
nice.
a little double whammy.
Fancy.
I will update that for you over the weekend.
Preach.
Level.
Not yet. No, you guys are a good ways
Surface.
away. Y'all just finished. Y'all just got to level 6 right before we got here, so don't get greedy.
I mean, we did kill a Remorhaz.
I mean, impressive, but Harshnag did most of the work for you. he did take like 100 points of damage? I think just the 50, but
Yeah, just the one.
So Goldbrand took
that
the
would
other
have dropped most of you.
Yeah.
But with that, my dudes, get some rest. Take care of yourselves. Love you all. And is it Friday yet?
Later, guys.
see y'all next
Bye,
week.
y'all.
Later.
See you.